Hello everyone, Tactical Itch here, and welcome to this weekend stream for the Vermin League faction conflict event, hosted by the Phoenix King. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me to cast this series of battles. I'm looking forward to some really cool replays. I checked out a couple of them just to see if the replays are working, and they are, not gonna lie, they are very, very close, and I'm very excited to see the rest of the cool replays. But yeah, first of all, we might want to wait a few seconds here just to get a few more eyes into the stream, and I'll do some like basic pings and plugs on different Discord servers and try to get more people to check out the stream and to cast their votes, because we're not only just checking out the replays, but also we are also doing a vote on which of the replays is the coolest here. And the coolest replay voted by the community will be earning a spot in the faction conflicts finals playoffs. So let me just quickly ping everyone in different Discord servers, and we'll be moving on into the. We will start casting the replays. Conflict. Alright, yeah, apologies if it takes a little bit of a time, but yeah, I do want to make sure everyone, I do want to make sure there are as many people, checking out the games as possible, and just so we can make sure we'll have more people casting the votes and deciding the final spot of the faction conflict event, so, yeah. I'm gonna quickly do the ping here. But yeah, the first... Now, just want to say, I do not know the outcome of most of these battles. I only went through a couple of them so far. And, yeah. Oh, hey, Corio, I saw I checked out... Your replay was one of the first one that I checked out, because they were played in the older version before 7.2 version dropped, so I had to check out which of the replays are working and which I have to make sure they are working as the same as 7.2, which we're on. Theoretically, the replays should not have any stat changes because the last patch didn't have any battle balance changes, but of course, CA being CA, sometimes you just have sometimes you just have replays screwing up despite no stat changes, just because there are some weird stats and whatnot being changed up despite not having anything to deal with the battle itself. So it's really weird. Like even animation changes can lead to a battle just happening very differently. So it's very, very hard to say what is working and what is not, but yeah, I basically checked out the replays, everything's working fine, and it is a very, very close battle as well, so I'm really looking forward to cast everything. Yeah, I might sound like I'm just kind of buying more time here, but I do want to wait for a few more people to show up before we go into the first few battles. Just want to make sure everyone managed to check out the battles here, and yeah, we will see more action. Alright, looks like we're having a few more people showing up. That's amazing. While I continue to my, while I keep go and ping people and try to get more people watch the stream and check out the replays and join in on the vote. Okay, I think that's most of the servers we can cover. Like we have the right to cover. Like after all, I don't have access to every single server after all. So yeah. I can only do what I can. Oh, hey, King Cars. Hey, Cooking Co. Looking forward to catch your replays as well. Alright, I think that's about it. Let's start from the first battles here. The first one being submitted into this event was Curios. And it is a Greenskin versus Slaanesh battle. Two very aggressive army builds here. Both sides going all in, almost all in. There's one missile unit on the Greenskin side, but everyone else is just going in, all in on that melee fighting. Although the caster, the leadership of the Greenskins is a caster, Azak the Slaughter, and he's well known for his spell kiting potential. Now, for the army build here, we can see that. Damn, who is this handsome and very votable Greenskin player? What is that brain dead Slaanesh build? I wonder who is this this Greenskin player is doing. It seems like he's the kind of person who would try to promote himself in somebody's chat. And yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, anyways, for the army builds here, the Greenskins of Curio are lined up with a front line of Gobbles, including the 8-pig loonies, Night Goblin fanatics with their spinning loons, AoE damage potential. Very, very strong, especially with that unbreakable trait. Allow them to being one of the most durable, not in terms of tanking damage, but just in terms of staying in the fight. Most durable Greenskin unit in the entire game. Roglux Armored Orcs there, providing some really solid missile support, while not that vulnerable to stuff like Furies, as they can have the decent stats to fight back and whatnot. Although Slaanesh Furies doesn't really care about their armor, so yeah, that's a problem for them, I guess. Not that they have any Furies to deal with anyways. And a whole lot of investment into mobility here. Squig Hoods, a lot of Savage Orc Boar Boys, providing some cheap and cheerful high damage mobility. I mean, they're not. They have light armor. They are not anti-large. Oh wait, there are some. Okay, never mind. Savage Orc Boar Biggins. There are a lot of anti-large potential here. But yeah, Savage Orc Boar Boys don't have anti-large, but they do have the Biggins here to make up for it, including the Broken Tusk mobs. Yeah, so a lot of vacant cav to provide melee support, especially with Azak the Slaughter coming in with his melee stats modifications. Although he doesn't seem to have a lot today. Just get on with it to provide that extra leadership and slashes. Oh, actually that is a plus 12 leadership buff, so that can be quite neat for Greenskins who have quite fragile leadership, quite flaky leadership. I would have wanted to see, I guess, if I was bringing Azak, I probably would have just brought his art armor instead for more melee stat modification. I probably wouldn't have bothered with the leadership stuff, but yeah, it's always nice to have leadership on Greenskins because how easy they route, unless you're the 8-pig loonies, then you're fighting to death. But yeah, Spellwise, Spirit Leech, and Fate of Buna. Very classic for death casters. Leadership debuff like Doom and Darkness isn't as good against Slaanesh because their whole army is immune to psychology anyways. Now for the hero support, Snagala Grop Spit, providing a single entity fighting power with net, which can be quite interesting in this case, trying to limit some of that Slaanesh mobility. On the other side, for the I think it's Sigos. Yeah, basically the green side is always the player who submits to the replay. The battle outcome I don't think should be relevant. It's mostly just how cool the replay it is. And this replay was named as Azak actually doing something. So yeah, looking forward. Sigos is a noob. Yeah. No, Zegos absolutely beat the shit out of me in every game, so I'm not gonna endorse that statement, although it is a funny one. Now for the Slaanesh army, I think it was played by Segos. It is led by a Chaos Sorcerer, Lord of Slaanesh, with Shadow's Magic. Malcolm's Mystifying Miasma, very good against the Bacon Calf, and a Pit of Shades, probably to nuke those Ruglux Armored Orcs. I mean, I don't see any more valuable. Oh wait, actually, Apic Loonies would be a good target as well. Yeah, and then the build is a whole all Hail Mary rush army. It's just Slangors in the front line and a shit ton of Pleasure Seekers plus a single Pleasure Guard, the unbreakable champions of Slaanesh. Very, very damaging if they manage to get a rear charge. We in the early days when the DLC first came out, the Tides of Torment first came out. Like, holy shit, they managed to delete a full health Acelin, or it was a half health Acelin with a rear charge in a matter of seconds. So it's real, like the devastating flanker plus high melee stats and weapon strength, armor piercing, magic attacks. It's just really, really powerful in the right engagement. And on top of that, they're unbreakable, making them very, very durable. Well, not durable per se, but they hang around for a lot longer than a lot of other /I units. But yeah, the Pleasure Seekers are also a very lethal mobility. We shall see what happens here as we go into normal speed. Both full DLC pay to win army, disgusting. That is true. That is true. That is all DLC units here. I didn't even notice. Yeah, and immediately the Ruglux Armored Orcs will be opening up onto those Slangors, as they are probably just going to tear through these Goblin frontline, no questions asked. Even sending in some Savage Orc Warboys, trying to get some cheeky charges onto the Slangors here, trying to get some damage done with those charge impact, but here comes the Pleasure Guard counter charging, and the Pleasure Seekers are moving up on the flanks here, trying to move into position and just run through the Greenskin defenses. But here comes the Savage Orc Warboys. Biggins, are these Biggins? No, just Warboys. Biggins are behind them. Pit of Shades onto the Ruglux Armored Orcs with a bunch of cavalry moving in and overlapping, and everyone's taking damage there. But a more important engagement is over here, as the Pleasure Seekers are now bogged down, surrounded by a bunch of pigs and greenskin mushrooms actually. And that makes me want to make a stew with mushrooms and pork. Anyways, everything's getting overwhelmed, swarmed over here, as the Savage Orc Warboys, Borbo Biggins, all getting that +8 melee attack from Slagger Slashes, and on top of that, Fate of Bionut deleting a good chunk of those Pleasure Seekers' HP, and as I managed to win out on that engagement here. And the other engagements wise, those Slangors are doing pretty well. Absolutely shredding through those goblins, although the Bacon Calf are leaving a mark on the Slangors as well, and Pleasure Seekers as well. Like, after those two going down, these ones over here are also getting dragged down in a pitched engagement. Yeah. Squigherds charging into the front line to trying to do some damage, but they don't have a whole lot of armor, so they're taking a lot of damage. Nice spinning loons. They're running through the Slangors, doing some good chunk of damage, but these Epic Loonies might just get shredded by the Slangors. I mean, they are durable psychologically due to Unbreakable, but physically they are still a Gobble unit that has not a whole lot of armor, so they are taking a lot of attrition damage there. While over here, Azek going one-on-one against the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Slaanesh. The Slaanesh Chaos Sorcerer does have some really solid melee stats still, while Azek doesn't have a whole lot of melee defense. If he has to do a one-on-one, it might not be great for him. Wait, Slugger Gobspit, what the heck happened to your HP? He probably got surrounded by the Pleasure Guard, already getting a good shit ton of damage. 1,500 gold worth of damage value, approaching earning back their worth here. Although Azak is still very much healthy, his ground forces are in shambles now. A lot of the Gobbles are pretty tattered. Same goes for the Bacon Cav, being dragged down in combat attrition here and there. Yeah, also being drained down by Malkovs, don't forget about that. Slangors have breached the, have absolutely steamrolled those Gobble front line and just keep cutting down whatever units they're running into. Slangors are just really, really freaking good, damn it. Like, in the early days, I doubted their effectiveness, and I was completely wrong about that. I even had to apologize for being how wrong I was. And yeah, they are really carrying their weight, 150 kills plus. Cutting through everything in front of them. Of course, they are still a glass cannon unit and take a lot of damage, Oh, nice net from the Globspit, pinning down the Pleasure Seekers who are being dragged down in surrounded by enemy troops. But in the end, the Greenskins' leadership simply just don't hold up, and the Slangors, and Pleasure Guard is just beating everything right now. Even the Bacon Calf is just not holding in front of the Slangors. The Slangors are really like the Slangors, man. Your infantry. Why are you just beating everything, including cavalry and monsters? Holy shit. And yeah, the whole Greenskins army is just gone. oh, this is pretty nasty for the Greenskins at this stage, though. Oh, is that a Fate of Buna? Or is that a Spirit? That's a Fate of Buna. It's too long of a casting time for Spirit Leech, I think. And just trying to delete the rest of the Pleasure Seekers. While the Slaanesh Sai army dropping in that fascination to rampage these Savage Orc Barbarians to keep them in the fight and continue to drag them down. Keeping them pinned down with a Malkovs, draining down the rest of their health. Some Broken Town Small are quite broken indeed, actually. I might actually replay this to see how did the Bacon Calf went from winning against the Pleasure Seekers to losing so bad. But yeah, right now, Azak is trying to hunt down the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Slaanesh, but there are some Pleasure Guards still nearby, and they manage to get a semi-surround, attacking into the flank of Azak the Slaughterer, who is also debuffed by Soporific Musk from the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Slaanesh. And Azak is in big trouble. He was almost full health before he landed, but right now he's taking a crap ton of damage. Being forced to fight off a bunch of what is it called again? What the hell? I forgot the name of this demonic mount. Somebody remind me, please. But yeah, the Pleasure Seekers down to 6 models, but still managed to do a whole lot of work, earning back their worth and then some more. Now 2,600 gold worth of damage value. Spirit Leech from Azak here, very wise choice, just trying to drain down that Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Slaanesh. But the Pleasure Guard is going to be a problem, and there's still some semi-functional Slangors here. The Hellsteed, okay, yeah. Wait, Hellsteed? I thought Hellsteed are the flying Pegasus from the Dark Elves. Demonic Steed, okay, yeah. It's I'll check them again in the custom battles later. But yeah, I think Hellsteed is more of the Dark Elf. No, Hellsteed. No, Dark Elf has Dark Pegasus. Hellsteed are the zombie Pegasus from the Vampire Counts, I think. Goblins are now being... The goblins who came back are now being cut down by Slangors with the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Slaanesh charging in as well. He definitely want to stay away from Azak the Slaughterer unless absolutely necessary. But right now, Azak might just have what it takes to deal with the rest of the Slangors and Pleasure Guard if the Chaos Sorcerer goes down. The leadership on the Slangors isn't that high, but they've earned back their worth and cut down a lot of greenskins so far. And I'll be fast forwarding here. Azak has lost all his ground troops, and he will be suffering from the leadership debuff if he's not like on the ground and attacking something. He is attacking something and on the ground though. He has been landed. And dropping a Spirit Leech onto the Chaos Sorcerer Lord. Very wise choice here, just trying to finish him, he, her, them. I have no idea what gender this Chaos Sorcerer Lord is, but looks like the Spirit Leech didn't manage to finish him off there. And he will be routing away, but right now he's not going down, he's not off the map, so the Slaanesh army is not suffering from that leadership debuff just yet. Unless he gets out of the... Oh wait, no, I thought he stabilized, never mind, he's still running, but doesn't matter, there's no leadership debuff to the Slaanesh army right now. Azak the Slaughterer is on the ground. He's not flying, so he doesn't suffer from that leadership debuff, and he's trying to move away from the Slangors right now. But here comes the Pleasure Guard, who is indeed faster than Azak. And Spirit Leech is trying to counteract the Pleasure Guard and drain them down, but right now Azak is caught, and he's getting damaged with the Slangors trying to surround him. The Slaanesh Lord is still routing away, but right now those 3 Pleasure Guards is really just carrying the day here, catching Azak and just leaving mark on his HP bar, and his armor is getting debuffed because he's quite exhausted, with Slangors now moving on to chip away his health. Wait, what are you doing, Azak? Oh, he was trying to... Wait, Did he have? Yeah, he probably had an attacking order to finish off the Pleasure Guard, but right now it's just Slangos surrounding Azak the Slaughter. And can Azak win this? He's completely surrounded though, so he's taking a lot of attrition damage from all sides. While the Slangos are not reacting to his terror at all because they are Slanesh, marked by Slanesh, so they don't have any. They don't have any vulnerability to terror and fear, and they're still holding on, grinding down Azak as Azak completely surrounded, being a rather large hitbox, just getting slowly chipped away. And that is going to be GG with a victory for the Slaneshi army here. But Azak still did a lot of work here for once. 2,800 gold worth of damage value, draining down the enemy units with Spirit Leech and Fate of Buna. But unfortunately, that one Pleasure Seeker did a whole lot of work here. Same goes for the Pleasure Guard and even the Kill Sorcerer Lord. The Pit of Shades onto the Bacon Calf and keep Malkoffing down all those Bacon Calf was definitely very key here, exploiting their lack of exploiting their weakness to magical damage. They have War Paint for physical resistance, but not against magic damage. And yeah, the Bacon Calf in contrast didn't really get much work done here, not even against the large target. And the Slangors, even the Slangors are able to beat them pretty badly, which is quite awkward. And this is the reason why I don't bring missiles into Slaneshi matchups. It is quite rough for them to just stay alive and keep shooting, unfortunately. You vote for Sigos. Unfortunately, there is oh wait, Sigos is not trying to. I don't think Sigos is trying to qualify for this for the battle here, but yeah, I don't think he submitted any replays himself. But yeah, this is Kurio's replay, and if you want to show your support to specific replays, I am gonna post a link here. And pin the message. Vote for the coolest battle here on the Discord. Oh, Sigos already qualified for Slanesh, you think? Okay. That's fair then. Yeah. I'll be casting the replays according to the order of submission. So yeah, go if you want to cast your vote. Just go on to the link and into the Vermin League Discord and choose your favorite coolest battle. All right. I might actually jump back into the replay again, just to see how the Bacon Calf all died. But yeah, the Slangos are just so good, shining through everything. But Azak still managed to do a whole lot of work here. I guess that's all that matters for Azak. Yeah, I'm just jumping back into this replay here and to see how the Bacon Calf died. And then we'll be moving on to the next replay. Alright, there are some healthy Bacon Calf coming in from the back. Like the Bacon Calf in the front line are getting torn up pretty badly, so that's a definitely problem. But yeah. Oh shit, they were getting shredded by the Slangos. Now, a lot of these Bacon Calf are savage versions, which means they don't have a whole lot of armor. And they don't really have what it takes to mitigate too much damage from the enemy Slangos, and the Pleasure Seekers having magic attack completely bypasses their physical resistances and whatnot. So and Pleasure Seekers, the Pleasure Guard are getting some really good work done against the Broken Tusk mob. After all, these are green skin Bacon Calf, and their stat line, you can see, just isn't that good. against something like the Pleasure Guard. They have doubled their melee, more than double their melee stats. Holy shit! And they get absolutely torn up in a prolonged fight like that. Yeah, Greenskins, they need a lot of those attack stats modifiers to give them the stats to counteract enemies with the same level of same price tier, like the who have usually just outclasses them in melee stats a lot of times, I think. Right, that is the first battle. I hope you enjoy that one, and we are moving on to the next, which is a faction conflict. This time submitted by Race. Once again involving the Greenskins, but Race is going with the Dark Elves with an interesting army build. Rakarv leading the army, and a Charybdis, exploiting the leadership weakness of the Greenskins. Interesting. Now, for the army builds here, we have Race, Dark Elves versus Taurus's Greenskins. Race here, a very, very skilled player. A front line of Blade Swords and Dread Spears, standard stuff for the Dark Elves, backed up by Black-Eyed Corsairs, some Cold One Chariots. That is a very Rakarth theme then. Like, you have the Beast Chariots, and you have Rakarth himself, of course, and then, yeah, a standard, there are some Cold One Knights, with Dark Riders and more Dread Spears at the back. Leading the army is Rakarth himself on a Manticore. He's only taking the Beast Armor of Car, so it only works if there are large enemies in the nearby, giving himself extra damage resistance and melee defense. A little bit tankier, but not a whole lot of damage potential as a result. He doesn't have his other abilities or items. Charybdis providing a very neat -8 leadership to 8 leadership debuff to enemy units nearby, and Greenskins can be quite vulnerable to that. Sorceress of Death with a Spirit Leech and Purple Son of Zeruz ready to nuke enemy formations with the AoE spell. On the other side, for some players are qualified and are here. So the idea is, if you want to prioritize on voting players into qualifying, focus on the first 5 replays. But I think those are the players who are trying to qualify, and the rest might have already been qualified. I am not entirely sure. Phoenix King would be a better person to ask, but he's not online, I think, right now. But yeah, if you have any questions, I do advise direct it towards Phoenix King, and he would definitely know way better about the whole organizing to it than me. But I will be casting all the replays submitted to the replay submission channel, and yeah. And to make sure everyone's replay have a bit of a spotlight at least. Yeah, but yeah, for the qualifying stuff, I think it's focusing on the first 5 replays for sure. For the Greenskins army here, we have the usual stuff: Mongrels, Manju Marauders, and the Dark Creepers on the far flank there. A front line of Orc Boys backed up by Stone Trolls. Okay, yeah, actually that also would make sense as well. For the highest unqualified player with the highest vote to win. That would also work too. But yeah, you can also vote for your own replay, I feel like. So yeah, I'm not sure how many people will be voting for the replay. I hope there are more people who show up and check out the replays and just cast votes. But right now, let's just keep going on with the replay casting. We have some Stone Trolls behind the back line, in the back line here, reinforcing the Orc Boys' front line. Doom Diver catapults. They are aiming at the Charybdis. They are precision artillery with high armor piercing damage. Not a whole lot of explosive splash damage. After all, they are gobbles. They don't even have helmets. Give them a helmet to... Oh wait, no. They have a leather helmet. At least give them a spike helmet to do some more damage, man. Oh wait, no. They do have a... Okay, they have a knife in the front and on the top of their head. Okay. They do have a spike on top of their helmet. Yeah. That would do. That would do it. It's a guided missile, and it would do some pretty good damage over time. The question is, would they have the time to chip away the enemy units? And then further back, we are seeing more Bacon Cav here. Orc Barbarians, including the Broken Tusk mob to reinforce the front line with anti-large armor piercing, and more importantly, counteract the enemy Koan cavalry. Leading the army is a Night Gobble war boss, supported by a Gobble Shaman. Vanguard deployed to drop Vindictive Glare and Vindictive Glare only. Now let's get the battle started with Vindictive Glare and flying towards the Sorceress, doing some good damage, and Doom Diver Catapults chipping away Recarve's health. The Doom Diver Catapults is fairly accurate. After all, it's a guided missile. It's definitely guided when the missile itself can control how they fly. And yeah. They're flying towards the Charybdis and doing some okay chip damage. Nothing too amazing, but they definitely need time to chip away. We have Rekka flying around, just dodging shots from those greenskin skirmish, kind of very typical units from them. Alright, another Doom Diver flying in. Crash onto the ground. Or, oops, sorry. Crash onto the ground, not really hitting the Charybdis there. Sometimes, I guess, even if you aim it, you still miss. Fast forward a bit. And now the Vindictive Glade, this time against Rekarfu, straight too close to the caster there, while the Death Sorceress continues to stay behind. And just trying to avoid being targeted by the Vindictive Glare. Looks like there's some overcast damage already, which is unfortunate for the Night Gobble Shaman. And the Doom Diver Catapults continues to fire. The Koan Chariots are moving up. But not a whole lot of units to fight. Oh, looks like there's a fermented fungi from the Night Gobble War Boss. But there's not a whole lot of units nearby to respond immediately. Alright, some Stone Trolls are coming in. But the Rampage effect is almost over. They might want to drop in a Tormentor Sword then. Yeah, Tormentor Sword is right there. Everything is being invested into this piled engagement, trying to snipe out Rekarves. But here comes a Purple Son of Zerus. This is what happens if you try to go for an Alpha Strike and focusing all units onto a blob, making a very vulnerable blob for a great target for that Purple Son of Zerus, and that Orc Barbarians is almost done for. Rekarv is down half health, but is it worth it? We can't really be sure just yet. Broken Tusk Mob and other Stone Trolls, Bacon Cav are all committed. While the skirmishes continues to chip away enemy health. Although the Night Goblin War Boss, oh no! He is stuck in the fight against Rekarv and taking a huge chunk of damage, as Rekarv is indeed armor piercing and anti-large. And the Night Goblin War Boss on his Squig mount is taking a lot of extra damage there. And on top of that, the Charybdis is in the fight. And yeah, Charybdis is also an anti-large armor piercing combatant, so a lot of powerful melee fighters just wrecking that poor Night Gobble War Boss. Suddenly everything is turning against the Greenskins here. Koan Knights are also beating back the Orc Barbarians, and the front line of the Orc Boys are crumbling, with the Charybdis rushing straight through the enemy front line there. The leadership debuff is very lethal here, combined with the terror, making the Greenskins a lot more vulnerable to routing. And the Orc Barbarians desperately, alongside some Orc Boys with spears, trying to hold the line. But how much longer can they hold? The Dark Elves have turned on their own version of Wa. The Murderous Paras have been turned on. And yeah, all the Greenskin units in the center part of the front line is just melting. Blackout Corsairs are kiting away, just trying to move away from the Stone Trolls here, but they're probably going to get caught up and beat down. But yeah, mostly the Greenskins are in a mass exodus. Their leadership just barely got back. The Vindictive Glade caster is still around, and I think is still casting sniper spells, but I don't know how much damage. Yeah, not able to earn back his value yet. He needs to do more, for sure. The Sorceress of Death is still around as well to just keep dropping those Spirit Leeches in a later game scenario. Would be very lethal, especially to the Greenskin. Oh, already. He probably got hit by some Spirit Leeches, seeing how low he is. Yeah, and he hasn't been rejoining any fights after coming back from rout. So yeah, he just took a lot of damage and will be routed. Doom Diver Catapults have been forced off their artillery, and I don't think they will ever be able to mount back onto the artillery as well. As the Dark Elves continues to push on, Bleak Swords, Charybdis all rushing in with Rekarf as well. Yep, these Orc Barbarians are done for. Not with the leadership and the leadership debuff from the Charybdis there. the Abyssal Howl is just a very nice ability here against low leadership armies like the Greenskins and perhaps even Skavens. While the Stone Trolls here are being routed, and the Sorceress trying to chase them away, falling quite vulnerable to the Broken Tusk mob, but perhaps she can just run away at this point. The other Stone Trolls are thriving and just beating up some poor Black Aquasayas with the help of some Orc Boys, while the Cohen Chariots getting... wait, hold on. 100 kills so far. Not bad at all. Very nice. Actually, earning a chevron and just keep running over enemy units. What are we seeing, Recarve? Nice to see more Beast Masters, indeed. We just don't usually see the guy, as he's not exactly a strong lord. Now, over here, Sorceress will be just draining down the Broken Tusk mob. She's very... she's in the imminent danger of being caught and routed, and she is indeed quite caught here. Getting stuck on those Orc Boys, Biggins models, and getting slapped in an anti-large unit. Now, the skirmishers, they're just kiting, and I feel like they're kind of wasting their ammo away. Yeah, these colonies are shattered, and the more ammo going into them, the less ammo they have for the rest of the Dark Elf army. And there's still this Night Gobble Shaman around. He has been dropping those Vindictive Glares, but I don't know... oh wait, he still need to wait a bit right now. There's no good targets nearby anyway, so those Vindictive Glare has to wait. And that Sorceress of Death also being routed by the Broken Tusk mob. And both sides are regrouping right now, reconsolidating their forces, just kind of counter-skirmishing each other. But unfortunately, all these remaining volleys are just missing their targets. Trying to aim at the rather mobile... another Vindictive Glare chipping away Rakov. But yeah, trying to aim at the rather mobile Chariot. But yeah, they're just dodging the shots, and even if the shots hit, their 110 armor will mitigate most of them anyways. And more Vindictive Glare. I wonder how many Vindictive Glares are still left in that Shaman. But yeah, all they can do is just keep trying to chip down Recarve, get him, kill him, and then maybe they can get a big leadership route with all those Dark Elves getting hit by a leadership debuff. But never mind, Orc Boys coming in, but getting picked off by those Dark Elves moving over with the Charybdis monster as well. They still have a full health Stone Troll though. They took some damage earlier, but they are fully healed up and now charging in. The problem is, will they have the leadership to hold against the Charybdis here? They're not specifically anti-large, so they're not going to be specifically good at killing the Charybdis, who does have more melee, who does have some okay melee defense compared to more melee defense than their melee attack actually. So yeah, the Stone Trolls will struggle to land hit consistently on the Charybdis here, especially no anti-large shot system. Recarve is diving down and trying to beat up the Night Gobble Shaman and stop him from casting more Vindictive Glare, while the rest of the Greenskin army is in shambles. Balance of power wise, actually the Greenskins are still actually slightly, ever so slightly ahead. As Recarve is getting extremely low in health, and the Dark Elves are running out of supporting troops, but the Charybdis is still around, and you can see Stone Troll still over 2/3 of their HP, already terror routed once from that leadership debuff, barely pushing them into that terror route territory from the Charybdis Abyssal Howl. Yeah, all these Greenskin units are suffering from that leadership debuff here. Their Lord has fled for a long time ago and didn't die, so they don't have that permanent leadership. Oh no! That Vindictive Glare landed in friendly fire against the Stone Trolls. I mean, the Stone Trolls didn't take a whole lot of damage with all that missile and spell resistance, but that means Recarve just managed to dodge most of that volley. And yeah, those damage just didn't land on him. Now the Stone Trolls are gonna come back. Yeah, that Vindictive Glare missing might be a key moment here, as Recarve is really just 2 or 3 Vindictive Glares away from routing or even death. But he is alive and he is still kicking right now. He's gonna jump in and his oh wait, Vindictive Glare. Oh yep, he's literally just, if that Vindictive Glare hit better, he would be routing by now. He's really much on the verge of routing. He just really needs another Vindictive Glare, but does the Shaman still have any in him? Recarve is routed, but he's not he hasn't even taken any damage from the Stone Trolls. He's just simply routed. And the Night Goblin Shaman is not in a good shape at all, being bumper card by the Koan Chariots. And we're gonna fast forward a bit here. Get down, Mr. President, which is even more weird because this is not a get down, Mr. President moment of the bodyguards. He's just using enemies to body block for him. So yeah, that was quite unfortunate for the Greenskins. Do they even have any more Vindictive Glares left? That is a question. We are now 13 seconds into the battle. The Night Goblin Shaman has been casting Vindictive Glares the whole game. We don't know if he has any juice left in him to do another Vindictive Glare. And you can see those Stone Trolls, as they're taking more and more attrition damage, their leadership just keeps dropping lower and lower. And now, even if they return to combat, the leadership debuff from the Abyssal Howl, and then the terror from the from being a big giant monsters, just immediately breaks them in combat. Now Recarvin is back, and is he going for? Oh, he might just go after the Night Goblin Shaman. Right now, Orc Boy Spears are being routed, terror routed, and then shattered from the Charybdis, and the Stone Trolls once again terror routed away. Just because Recarv is near them, and they're not gonna... Are they gonna come back? We shall see. Yep, they managed to stabilize their leadership, and but the Charybdis is still gonna be a big problem in this kind of late game scenario. There's no dedicated anti-large. There's the missiles all used up, and I don't even know if these skirmishing cavalry... Yeah, they didn't even earn back their worth with their skirmishing, as they were just kind of they auto-fire onto any closest targets, and more often than not, might not be the best targets for them to shoot at. And they charge into Dread Spears. Yo, they're getting dragged down for sure. Even with a sandwiching charge from two light cavalry like that. Dread Spears have decent leadership and fighting power after all. One final wah, but that might just not be it. The Stone Trolls routed once again. This might be a shatter. We've seen them routed multiple earlier already. Yep, shattered. Army losses as army losses hit, and that shall be GG. And a victory belongs to your Dark Elves. Very close one indeed, actually. Koan Cavalry actually did work, and not the infantry did okay, I guess. But Recarv, he just doesn't have the good damage potential here, unfortunately. But yeah, the Charybdis is really a really key piece of monster in the late game there, able to just keep routing, keep terrifying and routing away nearby Greenskins due to the Abyssal Howl. And losing the Night Goblin War Boss was very painful in the early game as well. Just getting them stuck in a weird, in an awkward position between Recarv and a Charybdis, and both have anti-large armor piercing to beat down this poor Gobble on a squig. The Orc Spears did pretty well, all things considered. Managed to hang on till the late game, but unfortunately the rest of the army, especially the Stone... one of the Stone Trolls did pretty well, the other not so much. As these guys managed to hang on till the late game and beat down enemies. But yeah, the Death Creepers unfortunately wasted a lot of shots into the wrong unit, and also doesn't have the armor piercing to whittle down the slightly more armored targets and whatnot. So yeah. Would have worked better for sure if they had a bit better targeting priority with the skirmishing cavalry, but overall very cool battle indeed, and good to see Recarv and a Charybdis on the battlefield sometimes. Very cool battle, and again, if you want to cast your vote and decide which battle is the coolest, check out the pinned link and go into the Vermin League Discord and cast your vote on the coolest battle. I'll be casting the battle according to their numerical order, which is also the chronological order of their submission anyway. So yeah, we've cast the first two battles so far. Race versus Tarzan is the second battle, and we'll be moving on to the next one soon. All right. Yep. Let us move on to the next battle here, as we do have quite a few to go through. Milky Way versus Codex. I haven't seen this battle at all. I hope the update didn't screw it over the replay, as it would be very awkward to wait for a few minutes with the black screen to try and switch versions. So right now, I haven't checked if the replays play out the same in the two versions, but so far these two replays played out the same in both versions. So I'm just gonna jump in onto this Milky Way versus Codex replay as well, without reverting to the older version, which was supposed to be when the game was played on. But yeah, we have the Grand Cathay versus versus Chaos Dwarves, Codex versus Milky Way. Both sides going with their own versions of fantasy gunpowder. One side having some air force, the other side just having mass missiles. A lot of gunpowder. It's gonna be a cool firefight, and we've seen some hot air balloon gameplay over the last couple weeks. I cast one hot air balloon gameplay as a replay, and played with some hot air balloons. Saw some hot air balloon gameplay in the Wednesday meme 20, and this time we're seeing sky junks with their firing rockets in the sky. Oh, that's a lot of firing rockets! Holy shit! 4 firing rockets on the ground and 2 more in the skies. Holy shit! Yeah, that's a lot of rockets, and everything else is just melee infantry to hold the line. Peasant long spears, 3 Jade warriors, and leading the army is Yuanbo the Jade Dragon. Oh wait, there's one more peasant horseman to ambush enemy backline. Yeah, I feel bad for this Chaos Dwarf army now. There's a lot of missiles. Alright, anyways, Yuanbo is coming in with Shim's Burning Gaze, Net of Amentok plus Shim's Burning Gaze, and his execution ability makes him a very, very lethal anti-infantry killer. So Astrogov has to be careful now. Even with the fire and missile resistance, should be able to mitigate 50% of the damage from the Shim's Burning Gaze. It is a missile, and it is, I hope so. And it certainly has fire damage, so it should be able to like mitigate some of that. But the Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses also have fire resistances overall, but we'll see if that is enough to save them from the firing rockets, because that's 4 units of firing rockets artillery and like 2 more units in the sky. So that's like what, 4 maybe 5 firing rocket artillery crews just firing away. And this is gonna wreak havoc among the very infantry heavy army, well, pure infantry army of the Chaos Dwarfs. We have a line of goblin laborers in front, backed up by hobgoblin archers from behind, and a bunch of Infernal Gods fire glaives supported by a whole lot of blunderbusses. But that means all these infantry are going to be prime targets for firing rockets and immediately tearing through their formations with those AoE damage. Those goblin laborers are, yeah, they're not going to be around for long there. You can see their HP is absolutely getting shredded. Firing rockets are slowly chipping away, and the fact that they are staying safe in the skies means, yeah, no melee units are going to disrupt them or anything. Shim's Burning Gaze, not doing a whole lot to Astrogov as expected. His resistance has definitely played a part here. So Yuanbo will have to go with pinning him down with a net and just trying to like cut him down with his sword. But yeah, overall the firing rockets are already wreaking havoc among the Infernal Gods fire glaives and Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses, who also deployed quite close to each other, making the projectile spread not as much of a problem for the Grand Cathay army, as the rockets missing their intended targets will just hit units nearby, which are these Infernal Gods, unfortunately. And yeah, especially when Infernal Gods themselves are being pounded by rockets. Now, alright, Astrogov is getting netted down, and Yuanbo is going in with the melee combat. And he does have very solid melee stats, anti-infantry armor piercing, to cut down Astrogov Iron Hand, who is considered an infantry target, despite him being definitely, yeah, he's not that big, to be fair, even with the mecha. He's trying to run away though. He's fast enough to run away from Yuanbo on the ground though, as he is working with his mechanical legs. Anyways, hobgoblin archers and Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses and whatnot are trying to push, but they are getting stopped by these tactical door stoppers, road bumps, Jade warriors, and peasant long spears, trying to hold the line there and screen off enemy missiles. Yuanbo is trying to go deep into enemy formations and take down Astrogov, but he's exposing himself to blunderbuss crossfire. Now the blunderbuss are now very vulnerable to rockets, being in the blocky formation, but right now they seem to just not care and try to shoot down Yuanbo the Jade Dragon. Yuanbo is he's going out of he's overextending for sure, getting executed by the crossfire blunderbusses. He got overconfident trying to kill off Astrogov, but he himself is the one getting killed. Now, of course, the infantry forces are getting absolutely destroyed by the rockets right now on the Chaos Dwarf side. So their front line is getting pushed back, but Yuanbo is getting shot to death. Yuanbo is like dying to blunderbusses crossfire. The blunderbusses are gonna die to rockets anyways, but they're taking someone down with them. And yeah, there goes the Jade Dragon, absolutely getting shredded to bits. Yeah, getting absolutely shredded, disintegrated by Blunderbuss Crossfire. A little bit of Hellhammer. There's not much Astrogolf can do against Rocket, so he's just dropping in the Hellhammer, trying to kill off some of the crew. Not quite successful here, and a lot of the Chaos Dwarfs are now on Exodus as the Jade Warriors, the few units of Jade Warriors and Peasant Long Spears, are driving back all these elite missiles of the Chaos Dwarfs. But now some of the blunderbusses are coming back. If they can turn around and start firing, that would be huge. But oh no, they've got they got an attacking order, but the hillside just kind of blocked them, and they're firing into side profiles of the Jade Warriors, doing great damage. And friendly fire from the rockets as well. I mean, they did shredded those Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses, and more rockets are coming in. And the blunderbusses, they're now aiming down at Jade Warriors, trying to get whatever damage they can before they gets taken down. But Astrogolf Iron Hand is, oh, he's unstoppable now. Now that Yuanbo is down, there's nothing really to kill him. He can Hellhammer the Jade Warriors and just melee fight all those rocket batteries to death. But can Astrogolf bring this back? Can Astrogolf solo all these Jade Warriors and just starve the rockets in the skies? We shall see. As the blunderbusses and the fire glaives are all absolutely getting destroyed by the rockets, it is all down to Astrogolf carrying the game now. I'm gonna fast forward here. Unfortunately, we do have quite a few replays to go through, and I can't just watch. I can't just stay there and watch Astrogolf fighting these artillery crew one by one. Good news for the Chaos Dwarf is that, yeah, well, bad news is that most of their army is gone and getting chased off all the way to the map. There you can see these very expensive fire glaives are getting pushed off the white line by the Peasant Long Spears. But yeah, but that's fine, I guess. Astrogolf is still fighting and nothing to kill. I'm glad we caught that one. A very juicy hit with the Hellhammer almost killing the firing rocket crew, while Astrogolf is just duking it out against the Jade Warriors. The problem is, though, the Sky Junks do have some crane guns mounted on top, and they are now aiming down Astrogolf and just poking him down. Wait, where's Astrogolf? Oh yeah, he's there. He's there. The crane guns are firing and chipping him away alongside with the infantry grind. But most of the firing rockets just don't have any good targets anymore. And the Peasant Long Spears continues to escort these fire glaives off the map. That is going to be a problem. 2 Wolf Raiders in game would end in 2 seconds. Yeah, for sure. But unfortunately, there's zero mobility on the Chaos Dwarf side, and that was definitely a big mistake when building their army. Alright, Astrogolf just needs some Hellhammer, but will there be any Hellhammer? Actually, I don't know if 2 Wolf Raiders... Wolf Raiders certainly will be very beneficial here, but they also can just get killed by firing rockets. But it certainly will tip the things a lot better in the Chaos Dwarf favors. If there are any Wolf Raiders. Astrogolf is getting grind down though, slowly but surely, by the sheer amount of Jade Warriors and whatnot, and getting poked down by the crane guns. And as a result, his leadership no longer holds, and that's gonna be army losses. He's on 2 legs like infantry just like Carnosaur. Yeah, sounds about right. Giant is just an oversized infantry unit, right? Yeah, sure. But yeah. Yuanbo definitely made a mistake of overextending here, really pushing hard there, but the firing rockets did the job. Just absolutely, really hard countering the Chaos Dwarf mass missile infantry attempt when they outgunned them and outranged them, and yeah, just absolutely destroying those poor archers and blunderbusses. The blunderbusses and fire glaives managed to kill off Yuanbo, but that's basically all they could do there. When everything else is just absolutely destroying them with explosions and fire, which they are supposed to be resistant against, but that 15% is nothing in front of the rain of fire. Very cool battle with the massive rocket build. And yeah, certainly there are no Wolf Raiders, and that was definitely lucky on the Grand Cafe side. Alright, next up we have... But yeah, once again, for those who just joined the stream, do feel free to click onto the pinned link into the Vermin League Discord and vote for the coolest battle that you think deserve a chance to be qualified into the Vermin League faction conflict event, the finals playoff, the 16th spot of the game. Yeah, we can see we can see we have quite a few replays, and I think the first 5 players are not qualified yet, and they will need your votes to get into the finals of the event. So yeah, do check out the stream, check out the replays, and go and vote for the coolest battle that you believe should earn a spot in the finals. Now for the fourth battle of today's stream, we have a Tomb Kings versus Chaos Dwarfs, and the Tomb Kings go double Casket of Souls. Oh boy. The Chaos Dwarves are getting hammered by artillery today. Certainly not a sight you would see every day. Alright, let's slow down and check out the replays here. I think that is, wait. Who's doing the, it's in Cars Tomb Kings versus Kodex's Chaos Dwarf. So, alright. For the army build here, we have, in Cars Tomb Kings going with a Skeleton Spear frontline, backed up by some more Skeleton Warriors, and quite a bit of artillery and mobility here. Of course, we have a very classic Chosen of the Gods to really shred through big, I was gonna say big monsters, but then again, these are Chaos Dwarfs and are spamming missiles. So, shredding through infantry formations with their scatter shots, and 2 Casket of Souls ready to just hammer down those poor Chaos Dwarfs with their artillery at range. A lot of mobility, Nakaran Horsemen and Skeleton Horses to counteract possible enemy mobility and monsters, I guess, and Cetra the Imperishable on a War Sphinx. Cameron War Sphinx ready to crush some more of these Chaos Dwarfs. And spell-wise, he's coming in with Incantation of Protection and Cursed Blades. 2 very decent spells. One for damage mitigation, the other for extra weapon strength. Now, on the other side, for the Chaos Dwarves, this time they do have some mobility here. Hobgoblin with Raiders on the front line there. Hobgoblin Cutthroats with their... Wait, these are Cutthroats and are not Sneaky Git. So they don't have bonus versus infantry and are less effective against skeletons. But they're still less expensive than Chaos Dwarf Warriors, and still more if they stay in the fight a little longer than your typical Goblin Labor. So I guess that is a middle ground between the expensive Chaos Dwarves and the cheap chaff of cheap but weak chaff of the Labors. Infernal God Fireglaves and quite a few blunderbusses with some great weapons, bull center renders on the flank. Leading the army is a Saucer Prophet of Fire with Burning Head and Burning Head only. Yeah, so that's it for the army builds here. Really relying on those blunderbusses and Fireglaves to kill off the enemy monsters. But will they survive against the double Casket of Souls? We shall see. You don't usually see Casket of Souls. They're very weak to counter artillery, but there are no Deathshaker rocket launchers here, so they don't really have to worry about that. And they're missing. I feel like they are supposed to be more accurate than Screaming Skulls, but even then, the projectile spread means that their shots are quite awkward sometimes, and just doesn't hit in the most optimal way. Right, they're cross-firing into enemy artillery. These Infernal Guard Fireglaves are trying to dodge the enemy shots, but still taking some shots in. And Chosen of the Gods firing at the blunderbusses already. Obviously not as devastating as oh shit, here comes a Burning Head onto Skeleton Spears, and these skeletons almost walked right into it, but these skeletons managed to pull back and dragging those Hobgoblin Cutthroats right into the Burning Head, destroying the enemy unit. And this Burning, but it curved into a third unit of Skeleton Horse Spears, and it did some pretty good damage still. So not too bad of overall not too bad of a Burning Head. Oh, these Chosen of the Gods got hit by blunderbusses or Fireglaves? Oh wait, no, Infernal Castle. I definitely neglected them. They are roughly at the same. Well, they are outranged by the Chosen of the Gods, but they weren't really paid. Not a lot of attention were paid onto them. So the Chosen of the Gods got too close to the front line, getting chipped down. Wolf Raiders are being dumped into the back line here, trying to just shut down the Chosen of the Gods for now, disrupt them and whatnot. While on the far side there, Bull Center Renders are engaging a whole lot of horsemen with Cetra the Imperishable in the fray, doing some good damage. And now the blunderbusses and Fireglaves are trying to move over to the flank and provide fire support. So very wisely, Cetra moves away. Burning Hand continues to clear out enemy skeletons, and the cutthroats are still holding the line, which is very commendable for them. Blunderbusses have been shut down. Chosen of the Gods might just go online once again. There's a Tomb Scorpion that I forgot to cover in the earlier moments, but now it is charging into the backline here to try and finish off that poor Sorcerer Prophet of Fire. But blunderbusses are nearby and are firing into the fray. It is a very messy battle at this point. I'm going to slow down here to just catch up on what's happening on the far side. Bull Center Renders with great weapons managed to cut through all those skeleton horsemen with the fire support. And now Cetra is running away from them, not really wanting to fight these great weapon armor-piercing cavalry / monster. And blunderbusses getting hammered by Casket of Souls. At the back here, Infernal God Fireglaves are being run down by skeletons after being hammered by the caskets. And in the center, the Sorcerer Prophet is fighting for his life against the Tomb Scorpion. Good news is the blunderbusses are nearby to provide fire support. Bad news is Infernal Gods with Fireglaves are getting crushed by a rear charge of these summoned Ushaptis and will be routed by skeleton spears, and these Ushaptis might just come over and shut down the blunderbusses, depriving the Sorcerer Prophet of fire from his fire support. And more Burning Hands in front line though. Oh, skeleton horsemen and Nekara horsemen and skeletons stacked up one together and taking a lot of damage there. But good news for the Chaos Dwarves, their Castellans are still very healthy and ignored, just freely chipping away at the Chosen of the Gods and shutting them down. While Cetra still trying to stay away from the Bull Center Renders there. Don't tell me the Castellans are gonna try and carry this game here for the Chaos Dwarves. That would be an interesting scenario. But yeah, the Sorcerer Prophet is finished off, munched up by that Tomb Scorpion, who almost got killed by blunderbusses, but those rear charge shut down, so it's quite effective at this point. Now, on the far side, their Bull Center Enders managed to caught up to Cetra the Imperishable, but he's trying to tank the hits with his Nero's Incantation of Protection, while sending the Necro Horsemen to get a rear charge, surround the Bull Center Enders, and now the Bull Center Enders are forced to counter-charge the Necro Horsemen, exposing their backs against Cetra. Surrounded and outnumbered, yeah, the Bull Center Enders are done for. There are still some blunderbusses regrouping near the backline on the Chaos Dwarf side though. A few vinyl volleys and might manage to work down the crumbling Tomb Scorpion, and they're back online to keep firing once more. Now, of course, the Cascade of Souls is still a problem, and they have earned back quite a bit of value. Not sure if that's enough to earn. Oh, this one earned back their worth, but that other one has not just yet. But yeah, they're just safe to keep firing. As the Wolf Raiders, they just don't have enough numbers to really threaten those Cascade of Souls. They don't have any counter artillery, no bolt throwers, no Death Reaker rockets. So the Cascades are just safely sitting back and firing. With the Bull Center Enders dealt with, it is all down to the Inferno Castellans trying to carry this game here. But I don't think they have what it takes, as they're getting dragged into combat by enemy melee troops. And now, yeah, Cetra is coming in to finish them off in melee. They do have anti-large armor-piercing fighting power, but they are just constantly distracted by nearby enemy units, unable to fire away. Incantation of Curse Blades, and yeah, Cetra's coming in to bully that Castellan. I don't see what's left on the Chaos Dwarf side to really turn this one around, as the double casket are really hammering the Chaos Dwarf formations. Necro Horseman coming in, providing support. I'm gonna fast forward a bit. We have, yeah, I'm sorry, I do have a lot of replays to go through today, so yeah, we'll have to skip some slow moments of the battles. But anyways, Cascade of Souls are getting some damage done, and just finishing off the remaining blunderbusses and whatnot. They're trying to regroup and fire away, doing some minor damage to the skeleton horses, but more skeleton horses are coming, and they're gonna be shut down as well. A bit of friendly fire from the Cascade of Souls, but that's all good. Now, that Castellan is actually... Nah, he's not surviving that one. Some blunderbusses came back, delivered a volley into Cetra, who did have their Incantation of Protection on, and the blunderbusses don't do magic damage. So a good chunk of that missile damage has been mitigated. Not even the fire resistance fire weakness can save the blunderbusses. Yeah, Tomb Scorpion indeed. Not seeing those guys a lot, but yeah. Sometimes they appear in battle and it's pretty cool. Cascade of Souls, expanding all their ammo, have they managed to earn back their worth? Not, I think this one did. This one most certainly did. The other ones almost, I think. And now, are they gonna go into melee? They are gonna go to melee! It is just Cetra bullying the Castellan though, so I'm gonna fast forward this one and watch these Necro Horsemen clean up the routed Chaos Dwarf troops. And with that, that's gonna be army losses, and victory belongs to the Tomb Kings. Very fun battle with the double caskets and absolutely bullying the missile heavy Chaos Dwarf once again. And yeah, the Hobgobble Cutthroats try their best, but the missiles are just getting hammered too hard by the caskets at this point, and they're just not surviving the artillery barrage. And there are no mobility in place to really, or counter artillery in place to really shut down the caskets, which is quite unfortunate there. The Castellans were mostly focusing on the Chosen of the Gods, and who did get shut down pretty effectively, but the caskets were just left to freely fire away. And yeah, Cetra not doing a whole lot. Mostly the work was done by the Tomb Scorpion and the double caskets. And of course the skeleton cavalry chasing off routed units and recharging them and whatnot. Infernal Castellan did some pretty good work though. Like, they're quite cheap if you don't bring in much items and abilities on them, so they earn back their worth, I think. Just that the missile infantry, just didn't really do a whole lot, and the Bull Center Renders didn't have a lot of supporting elements, constantly being outnumbered by skeleton cavalry and just cycle charged by Cetra himself on the War Sphinx. So that was not great for him. But yeah, if you think this battle is cool, go ahead into the pinned link into the Vermin League Discord and vote for the coolest battle in today's cast. We're gonna keep casting, and the coolest battle being voted by the community will earn a spot in the final playoffs of the Vermin League faction conflict event. And the next up will be a Corn versus Tinge battle, but I'm just gonna quickly get some water to just keep myself stay hydrated, and I'll be back in a bit. Give me a second there. Alright, I'm back. Now the next one would be Scabrand's gameplay against Lenorm. And Lenorm really loves his Teenage Army. And Scabrand, of course, as the name suggests, plays Khorne in this one. Khorne versus Teenage are pretty much a grudge match among the Dark Gods. Scabrand exiled, going with a whole line of Forsaken, a whole line of Chaos Spawn. Just really trying to brute force his way through the enemy front line with a lot of damage dealers. And I assume there's the locus of subjugation from the Blood Reaper. Yeah, abjugation, not subjugation. Abjugation from the Blood Reaper to mitigate incoming spell damage. Would be pretty nice against high damage spells like Flamestorm or something. But you don't usually see this hero that often, especially not with the Locus of Abjuration, because it has a long cooldown. It doesn't, and only really good against like very specific spells that does high damage and that also has a long cooldown. Takes a lot of. It's only really effective against like high winds of magic usage and expensive spells that does a whole lot of damage. As you really need to time your abilities right for those spells and whatnot. And a Herald of Khorne for the attack buffs, the Revel and Slaughter, and a Hellblade. Oh, there's a Tormentor's Sword as well. Really nice to lock down enemy targets and fight them, duke it out in melee. But yeah, otherwise it's mostly just a pure melee rush army. A very simple rush army. The whole idea is just to overwhelm the front line and just crush their back line, running straight into the back line and whatnot. Khorne is on the flanks there, I guess, to screen off enemy cavalry and whatnot. And yeah, straightforward Khorne army. On the other side for the Teenage Army here, a front line of... Ha! What a twist of events. Just funny twist from Teenage, I guess. The Changeling is turning into Scabrand the Exiled and fighting against Khorne. What an irony! What irony is this? The rest of the army is pretty much Teenage after all, of course, and going with Marauders of Teenage, backed up by a bunch of Sarguts, Chromatic Abominations, and Pink Horrors. More Pink Horrors at the back, so quite a bit of firepower. Can they shoot down all those Chaos Spawns before their frontline buckle from the Forsaken and Spawns? We shall see here. There's also one Severed Claw as a very solid anchor and backbone. Oh, are they? Oh, they came. Oh, this is gonna be beautiful. Teenage Army came in with the Final Transmutation and the Skull of Catan. Now, it is a very, very powerful combo there. Final Transmutation, excellent damage dealing spells to drain down a bunch of enemy characters and expensive monsters. Stacked with Skull of Catan, 160% of spell damage in that short period of 13 seconds, but that's a lot of damage still, and really, really good at killing blocked up troops. But it is a one-time only combo, and if there's a Locus of Abjugation there just cutting all that damage by half, then that means that very expensive spell, a very expensive combo of spell and an item. Oh, the item itself isn't that expensive. It's a white tier item, so it's cheap. It's 150 gold, but oh wait, it's 100 gold. I think it's 100 gold. But. Or 150? I think it's 100 to 150. I forgot the exact number. But yeah. But it's going to be mostly wasted by in the right moment of Locus of Abjugation. And because you're going to take more than 90 seconds to stack up on all that Winds of Magic, to charge up all the magic, to cast and overcast Final Transmutation. That means the Locus of Abjugation would have a perfect timing for this. Like every time you see a... Final Transmutation, you will have a Locus of Abjugation available to just tank the spell. So yeah, the Metal Caster would be in quite a bit of trouble right now. Alright, Changeling / Scabrand is coming in, trying to get some cheeky charges perhaps. And the Herald of Khorne is going in alongside the Blood Reaper. Oh, a nasty breath attack, mostly missing though, as the Forsaken are just moving up. And their armor means that they can just mitigate a lot of that pink and blue horror fire just fine. The bigger problem for the ones that struggle more against the missiles will be the spawns, but they're not getting targeted right now, and that would be a big missed opportunity. And Skybrand is in. Skybrand / Changeling is in, duking it out against the spawns, knowing that the spawns will be quite threatening to his front line and then back. Oh, looks like Tormentor Sword is locking down the Changeling / Skybrand. And oh, Rage Embodied, rampaging everything. This would be a good time for a final transmutation, as everything is getting rampaged. Oh, that is nasty. Everything is getting rampaged, and a Skull of Catan juicing up that. Wait, where's the Skull of Catan? Is it on? Wait, hold on. Yeah, the Skull of Catan is on, and everything is. Oh, never mind. The rampage has worn off, and the Locus of Abjuration is here to just mitigate all that final transmutation damage. And that final transmutation is mostly wasted. I mean, it still did a pretty good work while the units are rampage right now, but yeah. And unfortunately, Skybrand / Changeling is completely just surrounded. Oof, that is still a lot of damage. The Blood Reaper is getting torn up, as there are some Severed Claw in place to cut him down as well. The Severed Claw is and Skybrand, of course, and Wrathful Reaper, 50% damage buff, and absolutely shredding that for Blood Reaper. But the Forsaken and the Spawns managed to push into the back line there, and it's still quite a while before the Metalcaster can drop another final transmutation. So yeah, right now the Herald of Khorne is pretty safe, and just need to keep pushing up with those Forsaken and Spawns, and just driving back those Exalted Pink Horrors and keep them occupied in melee. Balance of Power is still quite in the middle right now, as the Khorne army lost a hero, and a lot of their inventory is damaged from the push. But good news is they still have a lot of their spawns in the fight, and they just have the number advantage. A lot of the balance of power of the Teenage Army rests in the ammo, which are not being used right now by those pink and pink horrors. The chromatic abominations blue horrors is still in, so yeah, it would not be a fair. It would not be a fair fight for the pink horrors for sure, as they are now dragged in melee. But yeah, Skybrand is / Changeling is going down, striking one last defying hit onto the Herald of Khorne. But unfortunately, the Herald of Khorne managed to take down this big boss of the Khorne faction. And yeah, without the leadership, suddenly the Teenage Army is in a much more precarious position. The units are going to suffer from that lack of leadership with the Lord Dead debuff. And the Severed Claw is still holding on strong, but the Herald of Khorne are able to cycle charge and cut down the Chaos Sorcerer of Metal, routing him not before one last final transmutation though. It is only a regular version, as I assume they do not have enough Winds of Magic for an upgraded version. This time there's no Locus of Abjuration to mitigate it, but it's not an overcast version, so it's not much of a big deal. And even the Severed Claw are now swarmed by the pure numbers of Khorne, and slowly getting dragged down in a combat of attrition. Pink Horror, Sour Guts, everything else, the Exalted Pink Horrors, all getting dragged down, and that shall be victory for Khorne. For once, seeing the Locus of Abjuration in a really cool engagement. Not doing a whole lot of damage, but still managed to chip away some health from Skybrand / Changeling, but more importantly, using the Locus of Abjuration to mitigate a good chunk of damage from the Skull of Catan buffed up final transmutation. It would be a lot more awkward if not for the Locus of Abjuration, but that worked out fine. And the Herald of Khorne got some really good damage done as well, cycle charging down Skybrand / Changeling. The rest of the infantry did really well against the Marauder Spears and punch through their defenses and drag down all those expensive pink horrors, especially the exalted ones and the Sour Guts. And the spawns too. Really not much the Teenage Army could do to stop the rush. The army is just not geared against this kind of pure melee brutality. And yeah, the whole team's defenses just got ran through. All their missiles, most of their ammo was just not able to be used up. And yeah, not very often you would see a Locus of Abjuration being used effectively. This is one of the times, and this was a pretty cool one. And once again, if you like the battles, go into the Click into the pinned link, go on to the Vermin League Discord, and vote for the favorite battle of yours, the coolest battle that you think should earn a spot. Your favorite battle and the player that you believe should earn a spot in the factions conflict event. And I also absolutely encourage you to check out the replays from earlier, as they do have some really cool army combos and cool moments. And yeah, absolutely deserve. Especially a lot of them are the ones that are really gunning for qualifying for the finals, I think. As we do have some submissions from players who already have been qualified, and yeah, check out the earlier replays as well. Basically, yeah. All right, next up we have Alivanar versus. It's an archery battle. Wait, both sides are using archers. Both sides are spamming missiles, and both sides are both sides are using their archer lord. Both sides are using metal magic support with almost not exactly the same spells, to be fair. But both sides are using pretty standard formations for their respective army. All right, let's go. We have Torreson going with High Elves versus Melkor's Empire. Torreson going with Alivanar, supported by a Metal Mage. Just a regular mage, but with Searing Doom and Plague of Rust, if I remember correctly. Can't see the spell combination over here, but I think I saw a Plague of Rust earlier. And Winds of Magic regenerating items. Overall, an army of... swordsmen, yeah, swordsmen, but they're not called swordsmen, but called ship's company. With are these rapiers, or these are not rapiers? Oh yeah, these are just regular swords. All right, ship's company backed up by a bunch of archers, and then Lothan Seaguard mass archery build, and supported by silver helms at the back, protecting the backline, providing that mobility. And on the other side, excuse me, just let me grab some water. Alright. Now, on the other side for the Empire, a front line of spears backed up by Free Company Militia, Silver Bullets, and the Hergig Jaeger Corps. Actually, I never seen people use the Regiment of Renown, Hogline Long Rifles. Usually it's just the regular Hogline Long Rifles, but they do have Snipe. No, they are not hiding though, so the snipe is not exactly useful here. But they do have shield breaker. I don't think the regular Hawkline rifles have shield breaker. I don't think. Yeah, I don't really remember. But yeah, they should be quite devastating in poking off enemies from afar. But the problem is there are a lot of archers. I don't know if they have enough DPS to really knock them out fast enough. Now, nearby there are some great cannons, and behind them, Empire Knights with a single Demogryph Knight supporting the Halberd variant to fight through enemy armored cavalry. Spears on the flanks, and leading the army is Marcus Wolfheart. Yeah, we're seeing an archery fight between the two armies now, and let's see who will turn out victorious. And Gold Wizard providing Searing Doom and Final Transmutation for spell support as well. Alright, I think that's it for the army builds here. And immediately the Archer Lords are gonna start exchanging fire. It's an Archer duel, but unfortunately Marcus missed the first shot. Oh, actually they're trying to dodge each other's shots right now. It's an archery fight! Watch them duel while the two armies are kind of just sitting back. Is that a moonbow? Oh, okay, they're just trying to shoot down the... Oh, yeah, moonbow, and that was a disappointing moonbow. It's clashing into the terrain and just missing entirely. Now Marcus is shooting it. Oh, did the cannon counterfire Alivanar? Yeah, the cannons are counterfiring Alivanar, and Marcus also firing in, and Alivanar is getting knocked around, but unfortunately Marcus is just not landing a single hit so far. Oh, yeah. Nice damage, I guess. 69 HP damage. And then Alivanar stood up and fired a shot at Marcus Wolfheart because of auto firing, I think. Marcus continues to fire at Alivanar though, but Alivanar, seeing that the artillery might be a problem for the cavalry to deal with, yeah, and also their archer formations just keeps focusing down the cannons for a bit. Didn't knock out any models, so the cannons are still at full damage potential though. He needs to actually knock out models to actually make an impact, otherwise he's just kind of spending ammo chipping down the enemies. But right now, the two archers are still fighting. It's an archer fight. It's beautiful. You never see these. Nobody ever brings archer lords these days, so you never see an archer duel in the front line. Alright, it's not an Amber Bowl. But archers are in range, and the High Elf archers are firing at Marcus, whittling down his health. But yeah, unleash the shot. 360 no scoping Alivanar. I don't even want to watch the rest of the fight. It's just the two archers fighting around. It's beautiful. But yeah, Marcus took another hit, but Alivanar is not in a great shape either. Missed. Marcus missed and got hit. All right, things are getting equalizing a bit there, but Hawkline long rifles, the Jaeger Corps, are really doing a number onto the enemy archers line. The long rifles do penetrating shots. Oh, Marcus is losing this archer fight. The High Elves, the masters of their art for thousands of years, are still, looks like they're still pulling ahead. Anyway, steering them onto the Free Company Militia, while Jaeger Corps continues to just delete enemy formations. Man, they're so good at what they do. Like their damage potential is just so good. Although the Silver Bullets have been exposed and now falling victim to archery fire. Yeah, unfortunately there is... Oh no, the Empire Knights and the Demogorphs needs to start pushing. Like they need something to really deal with those archers at the back. Otherwise, their Free Company Militia, the Silver Bullets, the Jaeger Corps are all gonna get shut down by the archer spam. The Jaeger Corps are doing a really good job shutting down two archers so far. Now shutting down a third unit. Really trying to shoot down those Loven Seaguard, but they're very fragile, and once the archers reach them, they'll start taking a lot of damage. Demogorph Knights are pushing up. What? Why was there? Why was there? There was some kind of debuff there. Anyways, oh, and here comes a Plague of Rust. Minus 60 leadership, 60 armor onto the Demogorph Knights, making them a lot more vulnerable to archer spam. And they are indeed targeted by a bunch of archers right now. Their shields are not facing the front, so they're not getting that damage mitigation right now. Though not a lot of archers are aiming them down. They really need to aim down those Demogorph Knights. Still having 20 seconds left. Maybe charge in those Silver Helms to really just shock them. With a charge impact might be nice as well. But yeah, the Hawkline rifles are really doing Sigma's work here. Shutting down 4 units of archers, maybe? 4 units of archers so far? Yeah, this is the 4th unit of archer going down. Maybe a 5th one. There's a lot of archers just falling victim to the Hawkline rifle. Silver Bullets turning around as the Silver Helms are getting locked down by the Hunter Snare. Though the Hunter Snare has been has worn off, so they're free to cycle charge again. But they are taking a lot of damage. And as another Silver Helms are sneaking into the back line, charging straight into the Jaeger Corps, and hopefully they should be able to shut down these Jaeger Corps for now. They themselves are being pursued by the Empire Cavalry though, so that is a bit of a problem. Silver Helms just trying to ignore, taking a lot of damage, ignore those Demogorph Knights. Just trying to shut down the cannon and inundate themselves with the Jaeger Corps and make sure they can't fire for a considerable time. While Silver Bullets managed to survive for a bit there, but the regrouped archers are now whittling them down. The High Elves are not in a good shape though. A lot of their archers are severely damaged, but the thing is they're still online. They're coming back and coming for a second round, while the Empire missiles are quite exposed. They only have so many infantry melee units nearby available to protect the archer assets, and not a lot of them are able. They can't cover every single gap on the formation. Demogorph Knights are chasing off routed Silver Helms, but they are desperately needed to come back and help just protect these Jaeger Corps right now. The Jaeger Corps are doing a lot of good damage, but there's just nothing nearby to save them from a charge from the Silver Helms, and that's gonna be it for these Jaeger Corps, I think. And without the Jaeger Corps to counteract enemy archers, I don't know how the Empire army can bring this one back. So, all right. Alivanar is back at once again, aiming down Marcus Wolfhard. Now that the Empire assets, the frontline assets, are being dealt with. The archers are still online, and the spears and the spears cavalry of the High Elves are coming back to just protect the archers from the Empire Knights, who are trying to run down the remaining tattered archers here. But they themselves are quite subjected to those attrition damage. Jaeger Corps are getting finished off. Oh, no, never mind. The Jaeger Corps might actually stabilize with the Silver Helms being chased off. So we shall see what happens here. We shall see if these tattooed archers will be able to turn this one around. But Alivanar is coming back, and he's going after Marcus Wolfheart, who is significantly outranged by Alivanar. Now he's just trying to shut down that Mage of Metal at this point, knowing that he doesn't really have a chance to outshoot Alivanar. Yeah, Alivanar is just outshooting poor Marcus. At only 180 range on this guy, and Alivanar has 300 range. Yeah, he is a master of his craft of archery for sure. Way better than Marcus Wolfheart, who is just more of archer enthusiast. Archery to him is not a way of life, but a means to hunt beasts. While Alivanar is a archer through and through, a warrior to kill other dark elves. Anyways, looks like Alivanar has won that archery duel. He has used up all his ammo, and it is worth it. Oh wait, no, he has not won the duel yet. Marcus Wolfheart has still have ammo. He doesn't. He has ran out of his ammo, but he's gonna probably go into melee at this point. Not that he has much else to do. There's still quite a bit of archers left on the field, and the Jaeger Corps, they are not turning around in time. They're just kind of left idle at the background. They need to turn around and start shooting down those Loven Seaguard. They still have 13 models and can still do quite a bit of devastating punch to the enemy archers, and their DPS is direly needed in this stage of battle here, but they're just kind of getting forgotten at the back. That is a lethal mistake, a very, very fatal one. Might actually lose the Empire the game here. They still have a very, very slight edge in the balance of power, but if they don't use up that ammo on the Jaeger Corps, that might not last for long. A little bit of Searing Doom from the High Elves, I believe, to whittle down. Wait, no. Maybe it's the Empire? I can't really say. Oh, wait, the Empire caster is not around. I didn't even see when they got killed, so it's probably the High Elf caster. Wait, no, he's all the way there. But yeah, probably a High Elf caster. It might be out of range for a Searing Doom. But yeah, Jaeger Corps still being... They're shooting... Oh, they're poking down the Silver Helms. Oh, they're not deliberately poking them down, but just kind of standing around to poke them down. They just have the enemies in their sight, which is better than nothing, I guess. And they do have to eliminate the enemy cavalry to have a safe environment to keep shooting. But yeah, balance of power shifts back into the middle. Marcus Wolfheart not having a lot of good targets. Dude, shoot the Silver Helms. Let the Jaeger Corps turn around and fire at the enemy infantry. Because the penetration of these shots are more important there against infantry than... Oh wait, what? Searing Doom? Not sure for what that one is for, but yeah, but looks like the High Elves managed to win the battle. Wait, was that played in an older version? Well, I don't know. But yeah, the Silver Helms and the Archer fire, just the High Elf Archers, despite being devastated, still come back for round 2 and round 3s. Managed to really bring this one back. Despite a pretty rough head start, Marcus and the artillery and all the Jaeger Corps doing some pretty good damage. Marcus didn't really do much damage here, but the Jaeger Corps doing a lot of good damage to the archery line. But yeah, ship's company beating up the spears, and archery fire support just shredding through those Empire formation. The Democrat Knights got some good damage done, but unfortunately was not able to turn this one around. And yeah, oh, this one, wait, this one was played. Oh, this one, oh no. Okay, this might be a bit of a problem because this replay might have... Wait, but that doesn't make sense. This replay was submitted... but yeah, so yeah, it might... So what happened might be the archers in the back line, the missiles from the Empire side at the back line kind of missed out on... kind of missed stuff on the side there. Yeah, they probably might have been shattered already, but they still managed to but they somehow still managed to like recover their leadership in the replay file. Hopefully this one doesn't have the same problem. I don't fucking know. Alright. Yeah. Let me check. Well, we are going into the next replay. Hopefully this one will be a bit more accurate, but yeah. Yeah, you don't usually... at least we saw a pretty cool archery duel between the two archery lords. We have Livanar versus Marcus Wolfhard, and you don't see that every day. You don't ever see that every day for sure. Hold on. I think I have some... Yeah, lesson learned. Don't have tabs on the background. Ignore that. Anyways, yeah, we're moving on to the next battle here. Ogre Kingdoms versus the Vampire Coast. This time from Calamity, who is definitely a ogre lover, and he's bringing Gorger spam with a Scrag the Slaughter. Again, you don't see that every... We're seeing a lot of niche units showing up in this faction conflict challenge for sure. You don't see a Scrag plus Gorger combo every day. Yeah, I'm a weeb. I'm a proud one at that too. I love anime. Yes, yes. You should know by now. Sometimes I drop in some weeb context. Yeah, drawing some weeb references on the Discord chat or something. Yeah. It's definitely not the first time I accidentally have some Japanese weeb songs on in the background and accidentally turning them on in on the stream. Yeah. All right. Let's see. We have Gorger spam. Let's slow down a bit. We have oh yeah, I might actually have to cut off that section because there's a chance might or might not get hit by a banhammer if I just leave it on. I'm not sure. Anyways, we shall see what happens here. Nobblers for the front line there, backed up by a bunch of Saber Tusk packs and ooh, Amble Peak Greybacks. A Yeti regiment of renown does terror and also have an interesting buff ability. Enable a terror causing unit in range. So if they're fighting nearby a terror causing unit, they can get some extra damage resistance and weapon damage. Quite useful if you're expecting terror causing monsters or ethereal units. They have magic attacks. Okay, actually, they might be one of the few ogre army units that can reliably deal with ethereal units, because ogres doesn't have a whole lot of magic damage, but the Greybacks do, and they also have that damage resistance to counteract ethereals. Oh, I need to figure. Yeah, that would be very useful here. Also, they have the Aura of Frost, slowing speed, and debuffing melee defenses as well. Now, for the main line, we have Nobblers and a lot of Gorgers scattered across the map. This is definitely a very wide map, a lot of space for Vanguard deployment. In the sky is Blood Vultures, and leading the army is Scrag the Slaughter. Of course, he has his unique ability, item, Cauldron of the Great Maul. Effective range and duration is infinite, and as long as he can get kills, he should be able to get more intensity and just buff up the Gorgers. But because it is limited only to Gorgers, it is also a very restricted item, and that's why not everyone wants to bring Scrag. He's more expensive, the item is not very much useful, might as well just bring a generic Slaughter Master. But we shall see if he can, his efforts can pay off today. On the other side, we are seeing the Vampire Coast, who are not going full aerial today. Probably because now that the Vampire Coast do have, the Ogres do have Blood Vultures, it is less beneficial to have these deck droppers spamming in the skies. But we shall see what happens here. Just 2 deck droppers with bombs, Ethereal sirens on the side, a front line of zombie pirate deckhand mobs backed up by death gods, pole arms, and deck gunners providing some mid-range fire. Zombie pirate deck gunnery mobs, just I think these are just handguns. Oh no, these are pistols. Never mind, they're not handguns. The handguns are at the back, the black spots. And some more animated hulks. Leading the army is a Salastra Dire Fine. And coming in with only Ghosts of the Past, no spells. Interesting. Interesting, no spells at all. Oh, that's because she's supported by the fleet captain with Invocation of Nahak and Drown Dead. Alright, that makes sense. Forgoing the Lore of the Deep completely, there's also a Scurvy Dog in the back. Alright, there we go. Let's see what happens there. The bombers are moving up. Not a whole lot of stuff to oppose them, except the blood vultures coming in the flanks. They need to really back off and let those pistols screen off the blood vultures right now. There's nothing to protect them in the skies, and they're gonna be caught up and shredded if they don't fly back. They're a lot slower than the blood vultures after all, and you can see they're getting visibly caught up. Fellbats themselves are around, I think it's the same speed as blood vultures, but they're carrying some zombies at this point. So yeah, they're not. Oh, some friendly fire, unfortunately, but sacrifices as needed to just really screen off those blood vultures. And yeah, fast forward a bit. As the Gorgers and the Gorgers do have stalks, so they are hidden. Nobody see them, and the rest of the Ogre's army are just moving up and trying to get in position, really sending in those blood vultures to pressure those bombers, keeping them occupied, unable to clear out those Nobbler front line there. Make sure they are getting caught and maybe even killed. Saber Husks are moving into position, yeah, just moving in. And yeah, dropping in on those deck droppers is very ironic. And now the Saber-Tusk packs are emerging out of the tree line, including with Gorgers as well, exposing themselves from... Wait, hold on. There's a great mo here. Just deleted a bunch of gunners. Was that just the... Oh, the black spots. The black spots are dead. No more anti-large handguns. Okay, that's a bit of a problem. It's not a cheap infantry at all, so that is a pretty big loss. And also, it charges... More importantly, it charges... Wait, hold on. Where's Scrag? More importantly, it charges up a lot of that cauldron. Already halfway through and juicing up, giving the Gorgers that 0.1% heal per second and an extra 11% of damage output. The heal is a very key item, a key moment, I think, key element to keep those Gorgers in the fight, and let the Troll Guts to be spared somewhere else. Ample Peak Greyback has found their mark on Salastra Diafine. A desperate attempt to summon some Dem Knights as Aaron here to try and screen for Salastra. But Ample Peak Greybacks, they are thriving among these ethereal units. The magic attacks, the damage resistance, extra damage boost because of that Grey Supremacy. Yeah, those ethereal units are getting crumped. And yeah, Zombie Pirate deck almost getting tied down by a bunch of stuff. Right now, and I like the use of the Ample Peak Greybacks here. Actually, I really like them. Ethereal Sirens are coming in, over to try and fight the Gorgers, who are slightly healing right now. Scrag continues to kill and charge and get some, and just passively healing those Gorgers. Not that they are in a great position anyway, so a lot of them are taking damage. This one not so much. But yeah, another great mold. Did they overcast this one? A lot of damage, no kills. The problem is no kills at all. So that did not charge up his ability at all. Still 55%. That was the problem with casting AoE spells. Sometimes they just don't get you kills. They get a lot of AoE damage, but not enough to eliminate a model. Dump it to the middle of the Sirens would have been way better here, because the Sirens per model have a lot less HP. And yeah, the pistols are bogged down, the gunners are all bogged down by mobility assets, and Gorgers are just thriving, just fighting through with heals and whatnot. These Saber Tuskbacks are routed, but the Gorgers are unbreakable. They would just keep keep fighting on. There's still some Blood Vultures still in the vicinity. And yeah. Diving into the Death Gods, and wait, these are Death Gods with pulled arms. I didn't even notice it's Death Gods. But the Gorgers and Vultures are just fighting them and grinding them down to bits. That was unfortunate for them. Even as an elite infantry, they're still getting grinded down by a bunch of monsters. But balance of power wise is in favor of the Vampire Coast. Their units have a much more staying power than the very glass cannon Greybacks and Gorgers. You can see the Gorgers, well, unbreakable and healing. They're almost on the verge of death. There's only like one Gorger still left, and they're healing, but you can only do so much as one lone model, right? And oh wait, no, they're still Gorgers here. And the Death Gods are almost done for, so no more anti-large fighting power. But there is no ample peak Greybacks. Oh, wow, okay, Scrag is getting desperate. He's trying to heal himself with a Troll Guts. He's taking a lot of damage. They're fighting Silastra Diafine and a Fleet Captain with no magic damage to assist him right now. The Greybacks have been grind down by attrition damage, I believe. Wait, what is this? What is this Gorger? Still duking it out against a whole horde of Animator Hulks. That is a brave Gorger. It's a stubborn Gorger. And suddenly, wait, hold on. What happened here? That poor Fleet Captain just absolutely getting thrashed by Gorgers and Scrag. Yeah, yeah, the ethereal units would be a problem though. Scrag does not have immune psychology, does not have terror, so he can be terror outed by the Sirens. But more Gorgers are coming in to help, and let's see if that's gonna work here. Oh, the Animator Hulks are taking some damage. Oh wait, hold on. There's still a lot of infantry on the far side. Oh no, there's still another unit of Death Guards that I missed out on army builds. But suddenly, balance of power is in favor of the Ogre Kingdoms. I totally missed how that changed. Oh, it's probably the Fleet Admiral going down and the summons disappearing. Without the Fleet Admiral, there's no more spell support. It's just Silastra Diafine trying to duke it out against self-healing Gorgers and Scrag himself. Scrag is really trying to squeeze out more Winds of Magic here. Is he gonna try and grab another the Maul to just eat up all these zombies? Maybe, may not be. But Silastra Diafine would be a problem in the late game, just that she can tear out a bunch of stuff. But yeah, Scrag is fighting back, and that's gonna be army losses as the Vampire Coast is falling to combat attrition instead, without the healing support from their fleet captain. Very interesting battle with the Gorger spam and the Amble Peak Greybacks as well. But the Amble Peak Greybacks didn't do as much as I wanted them to do, as I expected them to do, as they didn't really get to fight the Sirens, being forced to fight the enemy pole arms, especially these Death Gods, I think. Scrag did earn back his... I don't know if he earned back his worth, but he definitely did some good damage with the Maul spells. And also just providing that passive heal to Gorgers and keeping them in the fight a little longer. And yeah, got some pretty good work done. While the Vampire Coast, Sirens did some okay work if they didn't have to deal with magic and stuff. Death Gods thriving against Ogre Kingdoms, but unfortunately not able to carry the fight here, as a lot of their units are just, the missiles are mostly compromised, and didn't quite manage to earn their money's worth. And the healing of the Ogre Kingdoms once again helping them keep their balance of power advantage and outlasting their opponents. Alright, Ogre Kingdoms and yeah, that one's done. And for players, for those who join the stream and want to cast a vote on who enters that finals playoff for the faction conflict, check out the pinned link and yeah, cast your vote on who has the coolest gameplay, who has the coolest battle replay in this entire stream. And I do recommend going back to the earlier battles and check out the other replays as well, as they do have some very cool unit combos and battle moments. Now, next up we have Lenorm. Oh wait, Lordon playing as Tinge once again, but the actual player we want to focus on is Archangel playing as the Disciples of Hashut, the Chaos Dwarves. Archangel going with, once again we're seeing a bunch of blunderbusses, but this time they're bringing their own artillery. The bolt throwers and the Death Shrieker rocket launchers with some Wolf Raiders, the archer ones, and these are Ogala Khan's Wolf Boys, so also archer ones. 2 archers providing that fire support, skirmishing fire support. Leading the front line actually is a bunch of Goblin Laborers and Hobgoblin Cutthroats with a bunch of Hobgoblin Archers providing that fire support. Leading the army is a Sorcerer Prophet of Fire with Burning Head and Fireball. And yeah, that's it for the army builds on the Chaos Dwarf side of Archangel. On the other side, for the Dangors, we have for the Tinge army, we have a bunch of Dangors in the front, with a bunch of Forsaken as well, just trying to go fast and aggressive, backed up by a bunch of Chaos Spawns of Tinge who do have Armor Sundering and can be quite nice to crump the enemy, combined with the infantry to crump the enemy Chaos Dwarf Warrior front line, if there is a Chaos Dwarf Warrior front line. But right now, no Chaos Dwarf Warrior front line, so the Terror will be what they need from the Weird Spawn to really crush those Laborers and Cutthroats. Mobility-wise, only Furies though. Only Furies for mobility, 4 of them. In fact, leading the army is a Chaos Sorcerer, Lord of Tinge with Metal Magic, with Searing Doom, and Final Transmutation. Let's go into normal speed, as the Hobgoblin Raiders will probably try to skirmish down the... Nope, not trying to skirmish down the Furies right now. A Fireball onto the Chaos... Oh, the Chaos Sorcerer Lord getting their shield knocked out by the Fireball, and then a follow-up hit from the Death Shrieker rocket launcher. That is a devastating combo, and Chaos Sorcerer Lord got like 20% of his health taken out by that one shot. He really needs to back the hell out of there then, or find some way to shut down the Death Shrieker rocket launcher. Oh, looks like the Chaos Furies just right on the path of that Death Shrieker rocket launcher and block a shot for the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Tinge. Although he's still getting shot by the bolt throwers, so that he's not out of the woods yet. Forsaken charging into the Laborers and are doing some really good damage. Tangors as well, and another shot, down to half health on the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of the Tinge. Can he even cast a Final Transmutation before he goes down? I do wonder about that. Furies are not really flying close yet because they know if they ever get close, they're just gonna get deleted by the blunderbusses like the one on the far side. And those volleys from blunderbusses are so effective. More shots, but this one missed. Thankfully, really good news for the Tinge army. Oh, blunderbusses once again flying in, but taking shots from archers and blunderbusses. Now even the Wolf Raiders are charging in, just trying to finish off the enemy mobility here and trying to save the blunderbusses from those Furies. More shots from the Death Shrieker rocket launcher, completely untouched, and on top of that, the Sorcerer Prophet of Fire going after the caster. Not a single spell cast, and the Sorcerer Lord of Tinge is already down. He's not coming back. 300 HP and still getting shot by bolt throwers. Yeah, it's a rough time to be a caster here against the Death Shrieker rocket launcher. Burning Head onto this line of Dangors. Forsaken, hurting some of the blunderbusses, but they have heavy armor and fire resistance, so that's fine. It's a sacrifice they're willing to make, just to try and whittle down the enemy infantry there. The Marauder, the Dangor and Spawn Rush is going okay. They're punching through into the enemy backline now, compromising the artillery, but the problem is that the skirmishers are still untouched, almost untouched. Sorcerer Prophet of Fire is still very healthy, while the Tinge army just doesn't have any caster at all. They don't have a caster means they don't have access to their magic. They don't have their access to magic means they can't recharge their army ability. So you're basically cutting off 25, like a good chunk of the effectiveness of the Tinge army here. And yeah, Tinge army is in quite big of a trouble. They can try to duke it out and grind down all the melee units, and they are successfully bricking all these artillery and infantry, but the blunderbusses came back. This would be a problem as they're now unleashing their shots into the Forsaken, doing some pretty neat damage. And yeah. And skirmishers are still whittling down the spawns, who have no hopes of catching up to those Wolf Raider archers, who are just gonna infinitely kite them until their ammo runs out. Killstorm blunderbusses are gonna get run down as the spawns are charging in. But the skirmishers continues to fire. There's still some archers came back and trying to whittle down the spawns. Not a whole lot of reliable tools against the Sorcerer Prophet of Fire as well. This is a bit of a problem. I guess I can try and pin him down with spawns, but they only have like 2 units left. And who are now under harassment from these Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders. The Forsaken are still relatively healthy though, and they should have no problem punching down those Goblin Laborers. Gonna fast forward a little bit more there. But yeah. Now the spawns are getting kited with breath attacks, shots. Might even want to send up the Forsaken or something to try and screen those skirmishers. But oh, looks like the skirmishers ran out of ammo. More bloodshed indeed. And now the Siege Army are forced to take the corner approach with melee troops and spawns bum rushing the other side. But yeah. Unfortunately for the Siege Army, the Chaos Dwarfs do have that mobility advantage with their Wolf Raider archers, and of course the Flying Cow himself, the Sorcerer Prophet on the Flying Cow, now diving down and one by one eliminating enemy infantry with that terror, while the Siege Army had no choice but just to reconsolidate around the capture point. Both sides forgetting the capture point, but now finally just trying to get some points and get the clock ticking and try to take the initiative. Get the force the enemy to come to them. Fireball spams though from that Sorcerer Prophet is slowly whittling down the remaining spawns, knocking out their shields and whittling down, especially the weird spawn, knocking out the models one by one. They're unbreakable, but they're not unkillable. And the less HP they have from those fireball spams, the more likely the Oglakan's Wolf Boys and the oh no, that was a brutal one. And the Wolf Raiders are able to survive the onslaught, fighting a bunch of melee specialized units. And now is a sandwiching charge onto these Forsaken here. Unfortunately, of course, Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders are gonna just get counter-punched and dragged down, but the Sorcerer Prophet of Fire is able to do some cycle charging, pretty brutal ones as well, to try and whittle down the Forsakens, dropping their leadership. The spawns are coming in and try to beat him down, debuffing his armor. But every time the Forsakens turn back, they're opening themselves up to a rear charge from the enemy Wolf Raiders. Now it's getting really, really close. I think the Siege Army still have a good chance on winning this, as long as they can counteract that Sorcerer Prophet of Fire effectively. Oh no, a fireball! Very nasty damage against these bunch of spawns as well. And but yeah, if they can pin down the Sorcerer Prophet of Fire and keep him on the ground, they should be able to just surround and beat him down. But that is the real question: can they actually do that? They don't have a whole lot of monsters left, and now they're also getting recharged by the Oglakan's Wolf Boys. Forsaken are running low on health. Of course, the Forsakens are fighting strong, holding on strong. The armor sundering from the Siege spawns are able to debuff the Sorcerer Prophet and get some good damage done onto the Sorcerer Prophet as well, alongside with the Forsaken. Oglakan's Wolf Boy might want to do a cycle charge, maybe. They have recharged into the Forsaken, but they seems like they are getting whittled down in combat attrition. The Forsaken over here also wavering. The Sorcerer Prophet of Fire is wavering. Everyone's wavering now. Who will be the first one routing first? Oh, oh no! Looks like the Sorcerer Prophet of Fire routed. And the Oglakan's Wolf Boy is routed as well, but this Goblin Laborer held on. It is still in the fight. Oh, hang on to that leadership there, allowing the Sorcerer Prophet of Fire to escape and come back. Oh, please don't tell me that Goblin Laborer is no, actually, yeah. That one single Goblin Laborer was it's all that stands between defeat. Between the Chaos Dwarf army and defeat in this battle here. Another fireball, and the spawns are down to 2 models. Yeah, that one Goblin Laborer, what the fuck? That one regrouped Laborer managed to hang on. Basically save the entire Chaos Dwarf army from collapsing, because they are still units, still in the fight. while everything else is routed. And now one final charge from the Sorcerer Prophet. That might just knock out all these spawns, as the Forsaken are on the verge of... Oh, that rear charge might just finish off these Forsaken, and that might lead to a chain route for the other Forsaken as well. They have their shield recharged, and they are duking it out. The spawns are completely knocked out, and both sides are wavering, but I think, unfortunately, unlike the Chaos Dwarf army, they don't have a random chaff lying around to uphold that leadership. Yeah, and that is going to be GG here. Very, very close battle. Very, very funny comeback from the Chaos Dwarf army. Very close game, very cool. And yeah, all that stood between the Chaos Dwarf army and defeat was that one battered Goblin Laborer unit that somehow managed to regroup and hang on to their leadership. And keeping the Chaos Dwarf army still in the fight, because everything else was routing, but that one Goblin Laborer, man. That one Goblin Laborer. And yeah, Oglakan's Wolf Boys did some really good damage overall. Just kiting and cycle charging in the late game, staying alive and all that. The melee rush of the Teenage Army did really well. Unfortunately, they lost their Chaos Sorcerer Lord very early in the game and just lost access to all their very important army ability and spell toolkit. Not even a single final transmutation was cast there, so very unfortunate there, having nothing to really mitigate that Deathshrieker rocket launcher. Perhaps even just keeping that sorcerer and those one spawn unit away from the range of the Deathshrieker might have been a better pick, but yeah, it's hard to tell. It was a very rough one for the Sorcerer Lord for sure. Well, the Goblin Laborers did some really good damage, and yeah. As for the Teenage Army here, the infantry did most of the work, punching through the enemy formations and shutting down the missiles and artillery, and of course the spawns did well, hang on to the late game. But unfortunately, all they missed was that one Goblin Laborer, and that meant defeat for them because the army didn't shatter from everyone routing. And yeah, that was a close one. Alright, last 4 battles, and yeah, next up we have a Vampire Counts versus Empire game here. Captain Tillis versus the Phoenix King. And Captain Tillis going with a very ghostly army. Oh, that's okay, that is gonna be a bit of a problem here, because we have some pretty nasty AoE damage spam from the Volkswagen himself, Volkmar and his Volkswagen. Yeah. For the army builds here, interestingly, just a lot of Ethereal units, a lot of Con Raves, Hex Raves, including the Chill Guys leading the army, and also 2 Banshees leading the army is Harry Kemmler, providing that passive heal with Chaos Tombblade, and Race Dead, the Krell Summon, an Invocation of Nahek, and leading the army is a bunch of zombies. Not leading the army, running in the front line is a bunch of zombies, probably going to be chaff, absorbing damage, while on the other side, for the Believers of Sigmar, we have spears and swords in the front. The swords is specifically the Sigmar Sons, and yeah, backed up by a bunch of known iron sights, so a very elite kind of handgun with higher accuracy and higher firing, reloading speed and whatnot. But yeah, overall, unfortunately, they don't have the kind of repeater rifle that they are supposed to have, but I think it's just CA shutting down the idea, unfortunately. Oh, not CA, GW, Games Workshop shutting down the idea, unfortunately. Knights of the Blazing Sun and Empire Knights leading the army is Volkswagen, supported by a Light Wizard with Shim's Burning Gaze, Net of Amantalk, and the Fast Protection. Not a whole lot of magic damage outside of Volkmar the Grim and the Shim's Burning Gaze though, so they definitely need to spend all those Shim's Burning Gaze onto ethereal units, I feel like. But yeah, the Banshees, knowing that the Shim's Burning Gaze would be a bit of a problem, we're trying to beeline for the Light Wizard, but yeah, the Light Wizard pulling back, and Volkswagen moving in to try and roll over these Banshees, having that anti-inventory magic damage. And yeah, the Banshees are pulling back for now, but Khan Rays rushing in, and the swords and spears might just lose out on this one. On the far side, totally miss out on that fight. Knights of the Blazing Sun, I forgot they do magic damage. Charge into the Hex Rays, both sides taking massive damage, but the Hex Rays are taking more damage here, and as they're very much reliant on that physical resistance to survive enemy charges. But the Hex Waves, the Chill guys, getting charged by Empire Knights should be able to fare a lot better. Dude, these Knights of Blazing Sun need to charge into the Chill guys and shut them down. But yeah, other than that, the Hex Waves are doing okay. Karm Waves not so much, as both sides were forced to engage with those Knights of Blazing Sun. But the good thing about undead troops is they are unroutable, so they can fight on while the Knights of the Blazing Sun has been routed by the reinforcing Conrave units. But overall, the ghosts are doing pretty well. Oh, looks like there's a bound banishment right onto these Conraves and should be able to rip through them while the Sons of Sigmar continues to fight on. I'm not sure if the Folk Mother Grim dropped any bound Grand Soulfires. Bound Grand Soulfire ability onto the Conraves yet. He really needs to do so and just keep spamming them and whittle down the Chill guys and whatnot, and maybe use some Shim's Burning Gaze, perhaps. It might help too. But yeah, the Ghost army are definitely just keep swarming the enemy mobility, especially with the Frostbite, slowing down their speed down to basically infantry speed, slightly faster than the light infantry, and allowing the Karn Waves to just catch up and keep up with those heavy cavalry. They're just constantly chasing after the cavalry, dragging them down, and you can see more and more knights are being routed away, terrified away by the ghastly ethereals of the undead. Folk Mother Grim is also in big trouble. His speed is down to 17, not only because of the Frostbite, but because the Chill Aura and the Chill guys. That is a minus 16 speed in total, and Volkmar is completely stuck in the middle of a bunch of ghosts and Crow Summon as well. Even Harry Kemler is just beating up Volkmar in the fight. Volkmar, his specialty is really rolling through infantry formation with his Volkswagen, but if he's stuck in a cavalry engagement like that, with armor piercing really shredding through his HP and all that, yeah, Volkmar is going down for sure. His Soulfire is off cooldown, but this is too little too late. Doing really good damage to the Chill guys, but Volkmar, can Volkmar survive this? He's still taking damage. There's this one Chill guys. Oh, never mind. One Chill guys block him from his retreat, and Krell comes in, finish the job, and there goes Volkmar. Everything else also breaking and routing away from the ethereal unit, the tide of ghosts. And I think that should be it here, as it is all that's left are just Empire State troops, and Balance of Power is also crushing them in their leadership. And that shall be victory, with Captain Tillis's ethereal army winning out in the fight there. Very nicely done with the Chill guys and Hex Waves, cutting down the enemy Knights of Blazing Sun. And I really like the use of the Chill guys with the Chill Aura plus Frostbite, pinning down Volkmar the Grim and allowing the Krell Summon to really hack down Volkmar the Grim and his Volkswagen. Really nice use of his ethereal units, I would say. And I think the Banshee also went in to chip down Volkmar as well, with their pure armor piercing attacks. But yeah, very nicely done. Really cool battle. And yeah, I think this might encourage people to use more Chill guys, just because how good they are at pinning down enemy units. But yeah, that is it for this one. We are moving on to... That was a quick one, actually. We are moving on to Skavens versus High Elves. We're seeing Torreson as High Elves once again, but the submission is from Nurgle's PA. And I also like how these replays are not always like... You don't always know if the... Like, it is more likely for the submission, for the person who submitted the replay to win the game, but it's not always the case, as we saw a very close one with the submitter losing the battle early on in the stream. So yeah, it's a very cool mix of battles in this case, and we're seeing this time Skavens versus the High Elves, with the Skavens here going with a front line of Skaven slaves, backed up by some Skaven slave slingers, a bunch of Poisonwing Globadiers, and wait, hold on. Let me just check again. Who's playing this replay? Nurgle's PA playing as Skavens versus Taurus's High Elves. So yeah, this is Nurgle's PA replay. Nurgle's PA's replay, and the previous one was Captain Tillis, and the one before was Archangels with their Chaos Dwarfs. But yeah, this one we have Nurgle's PA going with pretty wide Skaven army, a very wide Skaven slave line with more Skaven slave slingers backed up by poison wing globes to really cut down the enemy infantry and especially the infantry, really cut down the infantry and perhaps sometimes cavalry formations. Further back, we are seeing some hidden Ashen Triads. You can't see them, but they're always ready to pounce onto any large targets, trying to compromise the poison wing globes, alongside with 3 units of Red Ogres, including the Pit Fighters of Hell's Deep support. Night Runners further back, and leading the army is a Kick Claw supported by a Packmaster. A Kick Claw himself is coming with Flensing Ruin and Warp Lightning. There's also Storm Demon and Brass Orb. That's it for the Skaven army. For the High Elves, they're a front line of a ship's company backed up by archers, and then we're seeing a lot of anti-infantry armor piercing with 4 war lines, one of them the Rahagras Pride with their Roar, the Mighty Roar leadership debuff, and 2 more Lion Chariots to roll through enemy formations. Should be really good against the weapons teams, but if they get pinned down by Red Ogres and Ashen Triads, that might be trouble for them. Now, for the further, actually there's 1 Spears protecting the archers, the 3 archers at the back there, and leading the army is Tyrion on horseback, supported by a Mage of Fire with Fireball and Burning Head. I would be quite worried normally about this High Elf army because a simple Avalanche Mortar would be able to delete half of these before they even get to the front line. But there's no Avalanche Mortars today, so they can chill at the back and just keep whittling down the enemy formations, focusing fire onto the Poison Winds, who are now rushing forward, trying to get into position and start dropping their devastating attacks onto the enemy infantry. Although the Lion Chariots are now rolling straight through the enemy front line there. They're not really trying to tassel with enemy backline right now, seeing all those assets, the Triads, the Red Ogres ready to pin them down, but just recharging the enemy front line, combining with Burning Head as well to really shut down those Skaven slaves, forcing those Ascension Triads to move up in response and try to slow down the push of the ship's companies, who are moving in and are ready to drag those Poison Globadiers into melee combat. And War Lions, the Chariots, everything are all committed as well into the back line. And yeah, you can see the first Poison Wing Globes is shut down. Red Ogres are fighting the good fight, but oh, that's a Warp Lightning blasting some of the ship's companies, allowing the Ashen Triads to keep fighting, shutting down the enemy infantry support and allowing the Ashen Triads to isolate the War Lions and the Lion Chariots and drag them down with their Guandao anti-large armor piercing pole arms. Ship's companies are pushing in, but yeah. Overall, seems like the ship's companies have been mostly driven back by a few volleys from those Poison Wing Globes. But will the Poison Wing Globes come back for round 2 and keep shutting down the enemy infantry? We shall see here. But looks like the Ashen Triads are really dispatching those War Lions and Lion Chariots with quite decent efficiency. While a Kick Claw is in pretty big trouble right now as Tyrion is trying to hunt him down. Probably want to save up his Flensing Ruin to whittle down Tyrion in the late game and let the rest of the Skaven army shut down the entire High Elf operation first. One Poison Wing Globes came back and deleted some ship's company. The Rahagras Pride will push on and just kind of inundate them with the Globes though, and also the Lion Chariots charging in as well. So these Globes are shut down. But the balance of power is still quite even right now. Red Ogres charging into the Archer backline, trying to compromise enemy archers, but they are now being crossfired by a bunch of archers from left and right. Ooh, Ashen Triads pushing through the enemy flank after cutting through those War Lions and Chariots. Now able to compromise the archers. They have pretty decent melee attack stats, so and decent stats in general. So they should be able to win out against archers no problem at all. And on the far side, Rahagras Pride, they were trying to shut down those Poison Wing Globes. They successfully did so. The problem is that the Ashen Triads are nearby and Red Ogres as well. The Pit Fighters. Oh wait, Tyrion already got his first heal forced out. That was a bit of a problem there. Then he got a 2-minute cooldown for that, so it's gonna be a while before he can cool down. He can heal again, and he's now being Flensing Ruin down. Ashen Triads have managed to survive the first wave of contact, and everything is just yeah, all 3 Ashen Triads have survived so far. And 2 of them are now shutting down the enemy archers with not much to stop them. All the lions and chariots are committed to compromising those poison globes and taking a lot of attrition throughout the combat. And yeah, every mobility on the High Elves is basically routing or on the verge of death. While the Packmaster and the Ashen Triads are just driving forward to shut down those archers. Yeah, I think that is gonna be a bit of trouble for the High Elves in late game. There's still so many Ashen Triads to deal with. Although good news is they still have their Fire Caster, so the High Elves can Burning Head those Ashen Triads. But Ikit is right now clearing out enemy infantry with his Brass Orb, although some Skavens are still in the fray, taking some friendly fire there. But yeah, the Ashen Triads are absolutely helping the Skavens clutching this one back, alongside with the Pit Fighters of Hell's Deep as well, and of course the Packmaster is still around. Red Night Runners are just kiting around, whittling enemies approaching them. So that's yeah, they've used up all their ammo though, so they're forced to fight in melee. Probably not a good fight for them against the War Lions. And Ikit Claw going after the caster on foot. The Mage of Fire is in a bit of danger, but Tyrion is coming back to get out against the Skyr Master. Now they're back there, Ashen Triads and the Red Ogres have managed to dispatch another unit of High Elf Archers. The High Elves are pretty much down to the Spears, Tyrion, and oh, that's quite a healthy unit of War Lions. But the Skavens do have their self-healing Packmaster on a Brute Horror. And Ikit Claw is still relatively healthy, can still probably put out another Flensing Ruin to really drain down the High Elf blob. So yeah, things are still quite even in terms of balance of power, but I do think the Skavens might have a bit more advantage here, having more spells, abilities to whittle down the enemy spears. While Tyrion really has to carry this one on his back, although he might have to face off some armor-piercing attacks from the Triads and the Red Ogres. Ship's Quantities will be able to provide some screening support against the infantry, but oh no, he's going in too deep! He's going in deep into enemy formations, but the Red Ogres are coming in, and the Ashen Triads are hacking away some of his HP as well with their Weeping Blade. War Lions are coming back in. Oh, no. Looks like the ship's companies have been routed off by Ikit Claw. Tyrion coming in for another round against Ikit Claw, and a Burning Hand onto these stacked up Ashen Triads. With the Skavens responding in kind with a Flensing Ruin onto Tyrion. Although the Skavens, not a whole lot of resources for them are remaining on the field. They don't have any assets to fight the infantry for now. Oh, wait, never mind. There's still a bound Brass Orb there, nuking down the spears. But Tyrion at a very dangerous situation, but his HP might be dropping. Yeah, his HP might be dropping, but I still think, yep, there it goes. Another Heart of Avalon proc, heal capping him. He's still taking damage. He's heal capped, so all that HP is what's left of him for now. But he did get that heal, and he's gonna stay around for a little longer. While the Skavens are running out of resources, all they have actually are just Ikit Claw, some Tattered Night Runners, and this Packmaster. Gonna fast forward a bit here, and as Ikit Claw and the Packmaster are coming in for some cycle charges. Now Tyrion will have to be careful because he doesn't have any melee stats modifier, and if he's stuck in a 2-for-1. He might just get sandwiched and killed off there. Nice fireball, but oh, Tyrion taking some heavy damage as his back was exposed, sandwiched between 2 single entities with armor piercing, and nothing was nearby to save him. And he's down 700 HP and routed away. Balance of power is still quite even, but Tyrion is not going to get any more healing. The War Lions are coming in trying to save Tyrion, but they themselves are taking a lot of damage in the fight, terrified by the presence of a monster and this Doom Wheel. And all the infantry are running as well. Tyrion came back, but earlier being stuck between 2 single entities with armor piercing really didn't do him any good. The fireball onto the Packmaster also didn't do enough in this case, as the HP is getting the damage was slowly being healed up by the regeneration trait. And yeah, Tyrion is not in the shape of going into combat anymore. He doesn't have any melee stats modifier. He doesn't have Feign and Repulse. He doesn't have stand your ground to boost his melee defense. So he's just gonna duke it out against a Packmaster and take damage, which he really can't afford at this point. The spellcaster Mage of Fire is getting knocked around, and I think that is gonna be GG here, as yeah, she's terrified, knocked around, getting killed, while Tyrion can't really do much other than sit there and watching it. Man, this sounds like he's just sitting on a couch chair or something. But yeah, War Lions surrounding the Packmaster, and Tyrion jumping in. Oh yeah, that is it for Tyrion. The Flensing Ruin. One final Flensing Ruin to finish the job. And Tyrion does not have any healing left to save himself. And that is going to be it, as army losses hit. And everything routes on the high elf side. Yeah. Tyrion getting quite... I need to see how he took so much damage earlier in the game, actually. But yeah, Tyrion and his high elf army getting grind down by those Ashen Triads and Red Ogres. Some War Lions did some really good damage, but just not quite enough here. While the Lion Chariots are a little bit overrated in here, being constantly counteracted by Ashen Triads and Red Ogres, unable to run through the Skaven formations. And my god, a Kick Claw did a lot of damage. 4,000 gold worth of damage value, absolutely draining the shit out of everything. And rolling through the enemy formations, blasting them with Brass Orb and Warp Lightning, did a really good work here. Especially just really draining down Tyrion's HP with those Flensing Ruins, while the rest of the army didn't really do too much. Not even the Poison Globes. The Ashen Triads though, one of them did really well, the other two not so much, but still did their job. Threatened those Lion Chariots. But mostly the game was carried by the single entities in this game. Yep. I'm gonna jump back into the replay here. Just want to see what happened to Tyrion earlier in the game. How did he end up with half health? Oh, how did he end up with such an early proc of the Heart of Avalon? Just going to be doing a quick one for this one. Let's focus our attention on Tyrion for now. Burning Hand onto the chaff, got Singe. Tyrion kind of sitting back doing... now he's going up and try to fight things. Oh, yeah, that would do it. The Ashen Triads and Red Ogres are coming after him. Getting him pinned, surrounding him. The War Lions are trying to help him out a bit, but just kind of gave up on him. And Tyrion got routed. Flensing Ruin, but that triggered a Heart of Avalon heal, so he came back, but yeah. Ashen Triads, never underestimate them. They are pretty good at killing large targets. They are like an offensive halberd infantry. Like normally halberd infantry are defensive in nature, you just wait for enemies, cavalry and monsters to come to you. But Ashen Triads don't really have that kind of tankiness. They have charged defense, they have yeah, they have charged defense, they have wait, hold on. They have charged defense, they have some physical resistance, but they're still a glass cannon and quite acceptable, quite susceptible to charge and whatnot. So what you want to do with them is they are the ones counter-charging a cavalry or monsters already engaging something else, and they can do some pretty good work there. Yeah. But yeah, that is it for this one, and we are moving on to... yeah, that is a very close game for sure. Very nicely played by the two players, Nurgles PA and Taurusyn. We're moving on to the next one, Tinge, played by Lenorm versus the Dwarves. We have another Dwarf battle afterwards. So yeah, we're closing this this stream with two Dwarf battles. One on the opposing side and one on the it's not opposing, one on our side, on the green side. Yeah, one on the rest and one on the green side. Alrighty, now for the army builds here, let's slow down. Oh, actually, let's pause because we have a lot of Vanguard action. Both sides are going to collide very soon. Oh, wait, is that... oh, is the Doomseeker rush? Oh, yeah, this is beautiful. Alright, let's go. I wasn't paying attention to Doom to the Dwarf army build earlier, so yeah, I was totally, I totally missed the possibility of this Vanguard build. Now, for the army builds here, it's a front line of Forsakens backed up by some Chosens, and wait, is that is the name of the replay Chosen versus Seeker or something like that? Okay, anyways, I'll track the replay name later. But yeah, Forsakens in front line, Chosens behind them. And, well, Forsakens on the flanks, Chosen in the middle. In the skies, Furies to disrupt possible missiles, but there are no missiles today. And followers of the Great Eagle Regiment of Renown, Norscan Chariots, or just Chaos Chariots in general, and with the Rage ability. Oh, and Barrier Boost? Interesting. Yeah, a very simple army on the Tzeentch side with a Chaos Sorcerer, Lord of Tzeentch, Metal, Magic Final Transmutation to drain down the enemy characters. On the other side, we have a line of minus non-explosive ones and the explosive ones mixed in together, backed up by 2 Doomseekers and 3 Giant Slayers all the way on the edge of their deployment zone. Leading the army is Floric Ironbrow and a Thane. Floric coming in with his Rune of Doom to get some attack boost, basically a dwarf version of Wa. Rune of Wrath and Ruin to blast enemy units, and Rune of Slowness to limit enemies' mobility. Now immediately the Forsakens are gonna rush in and crump those miners, I believe. Followers of Great Eagle might just lead the charge into the explosive miners, and well, looks like they got stuck on some of the non-explosive ones, but they might just keep pushing through and charge in, maybe. Yeah, they're just gonna keep pushing through and charge in. A beautiful side charge, running straight through those miners' formation, and now the Forsakens are in to just crump those miners. A good chunk of explosives have been thrown out, but that probably did more friendly fire damage, if anything. As the Doomseekers are in and duking it out against the Forsaken. And doing some pretty good damage, all things considered. Against the Chosen, doing some pretty good damage, all things considered. Giant Slayers rushing in with the armor piercing as well. So a lot of armor piercing and regular infantry inundated against each other. For Giant Slayers, though, definitely want to avoid the Forsaken wherever they can. They don't have a lot of armor, and will be very vulnerable to that damage dealer, the high damage output of the Forsaken. The Chosen are also just holding on pretty strong there, although taking some damage from the Doomseeker's elite melee stats, but the Giant Slayers are definitely in trouble, forced to fight the Forsaken there. Miners absolutely crushed by the Chosens. Over here, Doomseekers taking a lot of damage, but managed to grind down those Chosens with the help of a lot of miners on the flanks. Now over here, the Giant Slayers and the 2 Giant Slayers able to beat down the enemy one Forsaken unit, and some miners here. Probably just got a lot of minor enemy shields, while the Forsaken while the Giant Slayers are doing a job of cutting down the enemy Forsaken and whatnot. But yeah, overall the Doomseeker spam seems to be working for now, certainly leaving mark on the enemy Chosens. But now the Doomseekers are slowly running out of infantry support and running out of meat shields for them to block enemy hits, while they themselves trying to do more damage, but not quite enough to break down the enemy units for now. Final Transmutation on Thoric Ironbrow. It is mitigated by the Dwarf Spell Resistance, 40%, but it is better than nothing, I guess. And Furies are coming in and try to swarm those Doomseekers. The Doomseekers are still holding on quite strong right now, and slowly working their way through those Chosens. And there's still a lot of Giant Slayers around. While, Thoric is helping the Forsakens, helping the Giant Slayers against the Forsaken. As you can see, the Forsaken is really having a good time crumping those Giant Slayers. Although they probably will be routing soon enough, and the Giant Slayers can try to swarm them and chase them all the way to the edge of the map. Doomseeker still fighting on, but unfortunately the minor support nearby is getting swarmed by Furies, attacking their rear and flanks, and these miners might just buckle and chain route soon enough. These ones are wavering, and the Giant Slayers are coming in to help, but they're a little bit too far away. Probably not gonna say. Nope, never mind. The Furies are targeting these routed miners, so no longer attacking the wavering miners, and the wavering miners were able to stabilize for a bit there. But yeah, Giant Slayers managed to now chase down these Forsaken, as Thoric Ironbrow needs to come over here and help out the Doomseekers and Giant Slayers against the Chosens, as there are still quite a few Chosens nearby. The thing will be coming for support as a bit of a heroic leadership boost to the miners, but how good that's gonna be? Probably not very, but because the miners are almost dead anyways. Thoric are slowly waddling over on his toilet seat, but he's still quite far away, so no spell support, no rune support for now. It would definitely be beneficial to have something to help him out. Damage resistant rune of negation would be nice in this instance. Just keep spamming those runes right now, but yeah, it's not happening right now as the Giant Slayers are kind of surrounded here. Forsaken, the Chosen, everything being committed to the fray. Furies should probably dive down to the fray as well, just to give some more bodies into the mix and wear down those Giant Slayers. As you can see, they are taking quite a bit of damage. Now, Rune of Negation is activated, allowing the Giant Slayers to hold on in this fight a little longer. Getting that 40% damage negation is really nice, and a Rune of Doom to punch back, cutting through those Chosens, cutting through their melee defenses with boosted melee attack. And they're slowly winning against those Chosen. Balance of Fire is in the middle, but there might be a Change Army. No, actually, we saw the Change Army ability, the Bolt of Change, dropping onto Thoric, doing some minor damage. Not a whole lot, but damage is damage after all. And the Giant Slayers are still holding on quite strong. Another final transmutation onto Thoric, and actually onto the Giant Slayers who are on the verge of death. And this kind of direct damage might just finish them off, and alongside with the Doom Seekers. Yep, the Doom Seekers are done for. The one Giant Slayer nearby is also getting whittled down. These Giant Slayers will have to stay away for now. Alright, okay, the final transmutation is finished. So the Giant Slayers are able to safely come back and surround these Chosens with their armor-piercing weapon strength, swarming them down. Well, the question is, can they survive all these Furies? There are so like roughly one unit of Fury left, like 2 half-health ones and 1 on the verge of death. And the hope, I guess, is to use Rune of Wrath and Ruin to blast them up, but they're just too fast, and the dwarves have no way to pin them down and slow them and make them vulnerable to a spell like that. But while the Furies are able to just keep on cycle charging and trying to wear down those Giant Slayers. Giant Slayers, of course, they're unbreakable, and they just keep fighting on, dragging down those Furies, putting them into demonic instability territory. Of course, they are still getting some good work done, and the Giants are down. Giant Slayers are down to less than 25% HP, alongside with some followers of the Great Eagle cycle charging. They're still very much healthy and still have a lot of killing power left, and the Giant Slayers, in contrast, are almost done for. Yeah, I think the Siege Army does have that leadership, does have the balance of power advantage, as the Giant Slayers are very much on the verge of death. But can they kill all these Giant Slayers before their units being whittled down? We shall see. Thoric and the Giant Slayers countercharging the followers of the Great Eagle and hitting them with a minus 60% speed debuff with the Rune of Master Rune of Slowness, overcasting it. Now the Giant Slayers are able to catch up onto some of these followers of the Great Eagle with their charge acceleration, knocking out one of their models, and now getting a few more hits in. That would be really nice, but unfortunately they're still not quite fast enough, as they are quite exhausted. Alright, come on, get a charge in, get a hit in. Alright, getting some hits in. The chariots are, one more chariot down. Still 5 more seconds to go. They can probably get another couple hits in. Oh, this was played on land battles instead of conquest. Okay, interesting. But yeah, in the end, the followers of the Great Eagle still managed to survive with 2 models left. Oh, they're countercharging once again. But the Forsaken is also coming in. So the Giant Slayers are in a bit of a trouble right now. Floric Ironbrow will have to take the brunt of the fight against the Chosen. Oh, these are Chosen, not Forsaken. And he might have to solo these Chosen in the late game. Another final transmutation. Oh, right. A third final transmutation comes in, this time another upgraded one as well. So the Siege Army does have enough magic. Oh. Does have enough magic to really drain down the rest of these Slayer units. But Dark Ironbrow and the Thane countercharging these approaching chariots, absolutely destroying, in the end, dismantling the rest of the followers of the Great Eagle. The Chosen are completely done for, though, unfortunately. and all that's left are single entities, like literally single entities left on the dwarf side. I mean, Giant Slayers are technically not a single entity unit, but when you only have one model left, that is as single entity as you can get. And actually, it survived. It survived a hit from the Chaos Sorcerer Lord. Fighting back now with the Thane and Thoric 3-on-1 against the Sorcerer Lord. Unfortunately, I think. Wait! The Slayer's still standing. That one Slayer still blocking those hits, surviving the hits of from the Sorcerer Lord. The Sorcerer Lord taking more and more damage from the armor-piercing hits from Thoric and the Thane. Not armor-piercing, but still doing some decent damage against the Sorcerer Lord. And that should be victory to the Dwarves. No artillery, no boxing, no corner camping. Just pure miners and Slayers charging in. I guess there's still Thoric and the Thane, but that's still a pure melee rush of the Dwarves, not something you can see every day. And that did really well. That did good enough to grind through those Chosens, as their empty inventory and armor piercing was exactly what needed to wear down the Chosens here. And the Giant Slayers as well. Unbreakable armor piercing, really good at cutting down the armored troops of the Siege army. They are taking a lot of damage against the Forsaken, but seems like the Miners and the Doom Seekers were able to wear them down enough. And of course, they still have like 3 units of Giant Slayers too. So having quite a bit of numbers with Thoric helping out, beating up the Forsaken as well well into the late game. And in the end, that one Slayer still standing alongside Thoric, and the Thane was able to just 3v1 finish off the Sorcerer Lord of Tsinj. Very nice battle from the players here, and we are approaching into the final game of this replay. Also, like, if you like these battles, do go into the pin link and vote for the coolest battle in your mind. And the winner of the vote will be earning a spot on the finals playoffs of the faction conflict event in Vermin League. Alright, one last battle, this time Gotrek Starbreaker versus Torresin. Gotrek Starbreaker going with his beloved dwarves, beloved Dowie, coming in with a bunch of Grudge Rakers even, and this time against Torresin's Greenskins. Right, let's see what. Oh, that's a lot of firepower here. 2 Master Engineers, 3 Grudge Rakers, 1 Bolt Throwers, 1 Great Weapons Rangers, 2 Gyrocopters, 1 Brimstone Gun, 1 regular Steam Gun, and a line of miners without blasting charges. Oh, yeah, 1 line of miners without blasting charges, and another line with Dwarf Warriors. Leading the army is Grombrindo, the White Dwarf. Haven't seen this guy in a while, but he does have the Flash Bomb. And Rune Axe of Grombrindo. The Discourage effect is really good. Minus 16 leadership against the low leadership of Greenskins. And there's also the Grombrindo has no fear to make make nearby units unbreakable. Has more melee defense and whatnot. So it's a pretty neat ability to keep your units fighting a little longer. As for the other side, the Greenskins are coming in with the Night Goblins backed up by Savage Orcs, and coming in with their own artillery contingent. The Hammer of Gork, some bolt throwers, and actually three bolt throwers, Hammer of Gork, a combined force that can really mess up enemy artillery for sure. Archer-wise, we have some Gobble Archers, and then backed up by Snotlink Pump Wagons, something you don't see every day for sure, and Savage Orcs, a line of Savage Orcs, a front line of Night Gobbles. Let's see, are these Fanatics? They are all Fanatics, I think, to rip through the Dowie armored formations. And then leading the army is Grimgore Ironhide, and that's a lot of letter G starting names in this battle, and a Night Goblin Shaman with Curse of the Bat Moon, disrupting enemy formation, and more importantly, nuke their melee stats, slowing their speed, nuke their armor, and melee defenses as well. Now the gyros are deployed on the far side. They don't want to get close too soon, as there are a bunch of archers firing, ready to whittle them down, while the bolt throwers will have to push in and try to just counterfire at the enemy artillery. This is the dwarves are actually outgunned in this instance, having to deal with 3 bolt throwers and a Hammer of Gork, so the dwarves are definitely going to be rushing in melee, trying to rush push through the enemy formations, defenses, and steamroll their, trying to rush into their back line and shut down the missiles for sure. Alright, let's fast forward a bit here as the Fanatics moves up and rip through the enemy miners and try to do as much damage as possible to their formations. And very nice cast on this one. Just turning their direction around, allowing them to cast the Fanatics on this direction and going horizontally through those miners. Grombrindle has turned on. Grombrindle has no fear, trying to discourage these Night Goblins and shake them into a rout, but that's not happening just yet. Dwarf Warriors and Miners are still pushing through, but here comes the Savage Orcs. They should be able to beat up the Miners without any problem, but Dwarf Warriors will be a bit of a tougher nut to crack due to their heavier armor. While the Gyrocopters are receiving some bolt thrower fire from the enemy bolt throwers, and bolt throwers from the Dwarves are firing back, and Whittle picking off the Hammer of Gork right now. Already killing one artillery model. And the Snotling Pump Wagons. Here comes the Snotling Pump Wagons moving up. Gonna disrupt the enemy. Oh, it's downhill charge as well. Ripping straight through the Dowie infantry formation. Beautiful downhill charge. And they might want... Oh, actually, I don't know if they really want to charge into the Grudge Rakers. Because Grudge Rakers taking a lot of damage from the Hammer of Gork. But they still have a lot of firepower left. And they can definitely delete those Snotling Pump Wagons, who are now slowed down by the Flash Bomb. And might just get sniped. Might just get crossfired down by the Grudge Rakers. Oh wait, no, only one. Oh, they're not firing. Line of sight being blocked by friendly units. And okay, they're firing now. And they're being slowed, so not a whole lot of charging speed for charge impact. Curse of the Bat Moon though. The model is more beautiful, but it's a bit stiff now. Wow, it is what it is. And trying to disrupt enemy formation, disrupt the Dowie formations. Now the greenskin units are all rushing in, for dragging those Grudge Rakers and Rangers into melee combat. But actually the greenskin archers and artillery are being driven back by the Dowie melee forces. But they are now able to establish another firing line. And the Dowie is not exactly in a good situation right now. A lot of the missiles are being compromised, being shot, and unable to fire back. And yeah, I think that might just be a victory for the Greenskins at this point. Their Great Weapon Rangers are being routed off. Where's Grombrindle? Trying to compromise some of the enemy Goblin Archers, but yeah, it's a bit rough. The Dwarf Warriors just did not have the right firepower to deal with the Greenskins today. They still have the Gyrocopters though, and it might be a bit of a pain in the ass for the Greenskins to deal with. They have a lot of flamethrowers, bombs, and whatnot. Both throwers are still firing, shutting down the enemy artillery, now picking off the Night Goblin Shaman. Okay, the Gyros are definitely the last hope for the Dowies to try and pull this one back. The single entities, the two Master Engineers, are still holding on strong in the fight though. And not sure what they were firing at though. They don't have any attacking orders, so whatever closes, I guess. But yeah, the problem is the bolt throwers are still very much healthy and doing their thing, picking off those gyrocopters one by one. The brimstone guns goes down. The regular steam guns are still surviving, but if the bolt throwers turn their attention to them, they're not going to be long for this world either, I don't think. But yeah, the capture point is slowly being controlled by the Greenskins. Hey, David, how are you doing? And welcome. If you like these battles, yeah, I'll talk about it later. But yeah, right now let's focus on the battle. But yeah, the Goblin Archers are being shut down by Master Engineers, and the Gyros, the combined Grudge Rakers, are being routed off, and the Brimstone guns are gone. They're dead. So no more Brimstone guns. And yeah, you can see the Gyrocopters, the regular steam gun ones, are getting quickly shut down by the bolt thrower focus fire. As the Dowie bolt throwers are really struggling to get back their worth. Actually, I think they're almost back to getting back their worth, but here comes the Snarling Pump Wagons to compromise them. And yeah, all that's left for the Dowie are Grombrindle himself, still holding on, and two very healthy Master Engineer with not a whole lot to do. They have Flash Bomb. All of them have Flash Bomb, but they don't have the ring of... forgot the name of it, but they don't have the AoE damage ring, so their killing power against all these archers are very limited. Capture point is still in the hands of Dowie though. So they are still getting that ticket, and maybe they can get a ticket win. And the Master Engineer not shooting at Grimgor at all, not shooting at the Snarling Pump Wagons, shooting at infantry, so probably not the best use of their ammo. Grombrindle just compromising enemy artillery, but I guess the Greenskins are really desperate to keep these boat furs online, so they're even just sending in their Hammer of Gork crew alongside some Savage Orcs to pin down Grombrindle. Grombrindle is unbreakable, so he is gonna be chilling in there. He's getting a combat attrition damage, but he'll be fine. Maybe he can force path his way out of there later. But right now, the bigger problem is the Gyros are out of ammo. The Master Engineers don't have a lot of killing power to deal with the infantry spam, and Grimgor Ironhide is still quite healthy. Tickets are still going to the Dowies though. They still have control of the capture point, and the Greenskins simply just not they're simply not capturing the point right now. Probably forgot to capture the point, and yeah, they really need to capture the point. I guess they're just trying to like send out units to finish off the enemy troops, but capture the point, Greenskins. You're gonna get a ticket defeat. What the fuck? And a lot of units being forgotten as well. Yeah, they're just forgetting about the capture point. Oh no, the capture point is unoccupied. The Greenskins do have the troops to capture it, but the tickets just keeps going into Dowie's hands. Finally, some Savage Orcs remember to capture the point. They send in their troops, but will they capture the point in time? Probably not. Yeah, the capture point is going to the Greenskins' hands quite quick as they're dumping all their troops into there. Barely 1 minute left. Not even a minute left to the Dowie's victory, but the Greenskins finally managed to remember capturing the point. I'm going to fast forward here, as the Greenskins are going to try and retake. Wait, hold on. Don't tell me the Greenskin, the Dowies have any way to bring this one back. I know Gotrek is not one to easily give up, but holy shit, okay, this is my drag out. I'm gonna fast forward here. But yeah, David, welcome to the stream. So this is a factions conflict event of we play as Glitch. Grimco wasn't. Oh, okay. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna end this battle here because apparently the replay is glitched. I might try to find a replay and trying to like cast the replay again. Okay, let me quickly. Wait, hold on. It seems like the replay is glitch. I am gonna have to recast this, I think. Sorry about that. But I don't know if the replay is okay. I'm gonna reinstall the older version. I think this is played before the update, so let me just black screen this and reinstall the older version of the game, roll back a version or something, and hopefully we'll get a more accurate version of the battle. Alright, give me a second for the black screen right now. Sorry about that. I need to roll back. Alright, let's restart the game again. I need to roll back the version and get and cast it. And it seems like the battle was actually a lot closer than what we were seeing. So, yeah, we are definitely recasting that one. Alright, this should be a more accurate representation of the replay. I need to rewatch this, because that feels very wrong. I might actually need to cast the Empire versus High Elf replay as well, because I think there might be a glitch in there as well. Alright, I'll cast this battle again, and then recast the Empire versus High Elf army. Because I saw the other two battles seems to be fine, seems to play. I cast 2 earlier battles that seems to play exactly the same in the 2 versions, but yeah, that was weird. So yeah, it was not accurate. I need to fix that one. So yeah, let's rewatch this again. The Dowies are pushing up, and all right, let's see. Artillery smashing up the Dowie formation. Grimgor getting poked by a bunch of stuff right now. Yeah. Gonna fast forward a bit because the start should be pretty much the same here. All right, miners charging in, pinning down the Savage Orcs, but there are no explosive shots to really kill these AOE, kill these light armored Savage Orcs there. There are no blasting charges, no Rune of Wrath and Ruin. And Grimgor picking a fight against Grombrindle. That's a tongue twister of 2 names. Grombrindle versus Grimgor here, and seems like Grimgor is getting an upper hand with Gisnik boosting his damage, and also you're next to debuff Grombrindle. But looks like there's a Curse of the Bad Moon to disrupt the Rangers now. While the rest of the army here and the Night Goblin fanatics were able to drive back those miners, and although the Savage Orcs are getting hit pretty hard by the Gyrocopter's Brimstone guns, Grimgor getting hit, and getting hit by the Great Weapons Rangers, while Grombrindle taking quite a bit of damage will be forced to pull back. And the Bolt Throwers are still holding back at the back. They're chilling and slowly picking away at the enemy Gyros. And Grudge Throwers not having a lot of good targets. Just gonna move on to the closest thing they can lay their hands on and try to shred some Gobble Archers, I suppose. Rare Weapon Rangers, nope, they're not firing anything just yet. But Night Goblins sending in their spinning loons, somehow spinning into the Rangers' Great Weapons, not doing a whole lot to Thunder Grudge Rakers though. And but yeah, the Rangers with Great Weapons are in a bit of a trouble. Master Engineers are chilling at the back though, just finding some decent targets to shoot at, but probably want to just keep focusing down the single entities. Grimgor Ironhide going in. Is he gonna get shot by a bunch of Grudge Rakers? Nope, no. The Grudge Rakers are just gonna pull back, letting those Master Engineers trying to snipe out Grimgor Ironhide right now, slowly picking him away. Gyrocopters blasting the Snotling pump wagons. But the Bolt Throwers, yeah, Bolt Throwers killing the Brimstone guns right now. Although Grimgor Ironhide is in a bit of a crossfire right now. The 2 Master Engineers are poking him down. And he has a pretty big hitbox, so he's easier to aim at, standing in the middle of a bunch of very short dwarves. So he's getting poked down. And Brimstone guns are also getting poked down. Grombrindle pushing through as he managed to hack down that Night Goblin Shaman and cut down any kind of spell support for the Greenskins. While over here, Grimgor Ironhide freed himself out from the melee in the middle of a bunch of Grudge Rakers, but at the same time, the Grudge Rakers are turning in onto him, crossfiring into his face, and getting absolutely shredded here. Oh boy, this guy is getting executed point blank by a bunch of blunderbusses. Well, not blunderbusses, shotguns. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense now, because Grimgor wasn't moving like for a good chunk of the battle, as he is actually getting executed point blank by Grudge Rakers. Now with Grimgor dead, the Greenskins are in a much more precarious position here, as everything else are now very prone to routing with the Lord Dead debuff. You can see Goblin Archers wavering, Squig Hearts wavering, and it's a snowballing effect at this point. A lot of units starts breaking and getting chased down or shot up, losing their fight and whatnot, maybe even shattering at some point. But yeah, without Grimgor dying in the glitch replay, a lot of these Greenskins would have just kept fighting on, but right now they're all routing away and breaking and losing the fights. While Grombrindle fighting the good fight against Savage Orcs, and the bolt throwers continues to shoot up enemy units. These bolt throwers of the Dowie don't have a lot of good targets, so they're just shooting at whatever expensive targets they can find, I guess. So Savage Orcs over here, or Night Goblins, slowing them down with a Flash Bomb. It is not an item with a use limit, so you can absolutely stack it on all these Master Engineer and slow them down. They're slowed down now, so the Thunders are able to crossfire into the fray, turning this into a death zone, absolutely shredding them with those shotguns. Devastating firepower. The Warpaint is not going to save these Savage Orcs. They might they might still be able to get a charge in, but nope. Another flash bomb has hit the blob, and yeah, they're slowed down once again, and now absolutely getting shredded by, once again, point blank, by these rather tattered Grudge Rakers who are still holding on. Night Goblins manage to get into melee distance, but these freed up Thunders are gonna start firing into their flanks and delete these units. Grombrindle, one person alone, causing a lot of havoc in the enemy back line there, occupying the attention of a lot of enemy units, but yeah, overall it's still very close. Very close. The Dwarves do have the capture point advantage, but the Greenskins have more resources on the field. The Goblin Bolt Throwers continues to fire away. The problem is they don't have anything against the single entities here. Savage Orcs are mostly beaten up, the Bolt Throwers are out of ammo, and the Archers, they're not going to kill Grombrindle alone, so yeah. It is still very close. The Greenskins still have a lot of ammo left, but I don't see how they can kill off all these Master Engineers and Grombrindle himself with just Gobble Archers. Savage Orcs rushes in, kills the Bolt Throwers, but yeah, there's still a lot of these Master Engineers left. And oh wait, hold on! There's a returning Gyro Bomber dropping in bombs and deleting those Gobble Archers, and yeah, these Archers are getting chased off the map probably. Nope, these Archers came back, but yeah, the single entities are still going to be a problem for the Greenskins, who are capturing the point, sending everything they've got into the capture point there. And yeah, this makes a lot more sense. They have a lot. The Greenskins have a lot less units than the Glitch replay, so that means they have a lot. We don't see the idle units standing around. Everything else left on the battlefield are being thrown onto the capture point, trying to wrestle the control off from the Dowie. But the problem is, they still have a lot of time before they can secure victory with the tickets. While the Greenskins are on a bit of a timer. The Master Engineers are poking them off with their missiles, with their sniper rifles. Not really sniper rifles, but more like handguns, but you get what I mean. The single entities are gonna slowly smash down these poor gobbles with the Master Engineer's hammer and Grombrindle's axe. And of course they also have the triple flash bombs to really shut down the melee defensive power on these Night Goblins, dropping in a very desperate attempt of Goblin Fanatics, but and they manage to surround the Master Engineer, slowly whittling them down their health. But Grombrindle is coming back, and that is the nightmare of the Dowie here. The Master Engineers themselves were able to just beat back the tattered units of Greenskins, and then Grombrindle comes in, and yeah, there's just no hope for these tattered Greenskins to win the battle. Very cool one. Very close one as well, and interesting to see the Snotling Pump Wagons in action again, but looks like the artillery spam, actually the artillery spam with these bolt throwers did some really good work. Just unfortunately, Grimgor Ironhide got crossfired to death by a bunch of Grudge Rakers as he overexerts himself into enemy formations. Very nicely done by the Dwarfs though. The front line was in a bit of a shambles early game due to the Fanatics cast and Grimgor himself crushing in, but yeah, the Grudge Rakers were able to stand their ground and really shoot down the expensive targets and really shoot down any incoming targets from the Greenskin side, and the Grudge match was won by the Dwarves. And yeah. Okay, recast the Empire versus High Elf ones, actually. because we saw the archer duel, but in the late game we saw definitely a lot of units being forgotten there, and are probably more of a glitch than an actual intention there. Alright, we saw this archer duel, but the glitchy stuff only happens in the late game. So we're gonna skip the start and then move into the later bits of the battle. But yeah, the archery fight is definitely not going in favor of Marcus. He's outranged by Elevanar. Poor dude. And the Jaeger Corps did some really good work there, shutting down the enemy archers. 2 units down, a 3rd unit, and then maybe a 4th unit afterwards. All the Empire Knights are holding the flanks there, pinning down the Silver Helms and whatnot. Yeah, the Jaeger Corps are really key in shutting down the enemy archers and whatnot. But unfortunately, just not enough resources to protect the missiles from the enemy mobility. I don't think there's any deviation right now. And Levanar is more focused on, shooting up the Gold Wizard, who is on the other side of the map somehow. That Gold Wizard is dealt with. Yeah, the Gold Wizard, we saw him hanging around in the late game. He probably is dead by, he's probably gone by now. So, right, let's slow down a bit. Yeah, so the Silver Helms came back, charging into the spears and whatnot, but the Jaeger Corps are completely done for. Yeah, the Jaeger Corps are pretty much completely done for, down to 9 models, as they're getting hunted down by the enemy mobility. Some Silver Helms, these seems to be more forgotten than actual glitchy stuff on these guys. And Elevanar is coming in to hunt down the Marcus Wolfheart. Now, there are still some quite healthy Demigryph Knights nearby who can try and carry this game here, but yeah, things are not looking too hot for the Empire army. Their missiles are all gone. Marcus Wolfheart is probably going to be dead with Elevanar on his tail. The Demigryph Knights have to carry this whole thing by themselves. And yeah, the Empire army just doesn't have any firepower left on their front. At least the Demigryph Knights can do some pretty good work cycle charging around. But the archers, though, wearing down the enemy units and dropping... And the Metal Mage is dropping in more spells to drain... to whittle down the enemy armor and allowing the archers to do a bit more damage here and there. Alright, the Demigryph Knights coming in for a lancing charge onto the Lothern Seaguard. Probably not the best bet, probably send the spears to fight the Lothern Seaguard and send the cavalry to charge. The archers would have been better, but the cavalry pushes on, punches through the enemy formation, trying to now knock out the enemy archers, I believe. And there's still quite a bit of Lothern Seaguard on the field. Not only can they do archery work, they can also fight as double as spears to drag down the Demigryph Knights, which would be a problem for the Demigryphs as their armor got debuffed, their stats got debuffed due to exhaustion in the late game. They really need to shut down, ping pong around those archers and shut them down. Perhaps maybe a rear charge with the spears occupying the Lothern Seaguard and another side charge, flanking charge from these Demigryphs might be a nice way to kill off those Lothern Seaguard perhaps. But yeah, right now the army balance of power is definitely in favor of the High Elves in the late game, as the Empire totally did not have any of their Jaeger Corps left or any other missile contingent. existing in the late game here. While they themselves is getting bombarded by magic, by archery fire, things are definitely not looking too hot in this case. And the Demogryph Knights with halberds will just have to ping pong around, but at this point, it seems like the High Elves still manage to secure a win, as the humans will be throwing in a tower over here. Not having a whole lot of tools to bring this game back, I don't think. But yeah, that is it for this one. Jaeger Corps definitely did some good work, but not as good as the previously, where they glitch and hang around when they were not supposed to. Anyways, this is it for today's battle, today's live battles. And if you like any of these replays, do go into the pinned link into the Vermin League Discord and vote for your favorite coolest battle. This is basically the idea is, for those of you who joined the stream late and didn't really catch the premise of the stream, basically this is an event hosted by the Phoenix King on Vermin League, to pick the best factions, or to just really decide on the long-term faction war kind of format, where players play games throughout a period of time and then try to decide who has the best faction, who plays a certain faction best among everyone else. And it's basically a faction war format, with players getting the most wins, players getting the most wins will be getting into the finals with for their specific factions. And there's a final spot here which is voted by the community, the coolest battle. That is one of the battles I cast earlier. And you can go into the link, go on to the voting post, and vote for the coolest battle that you believe to be the case on the stream. And ones that got the most vote will be securing a final spot in the final playoffs of the faction conflict event. And yeah, if you haven't watched every single replay, do rewind the VOD and check out the earlier replays as well. There are some really cool battles and really cool moments, close finishes as well, and some less popular combination of armies. There's one that's pretty much a pure. Wait, no, these are not. These are from some other time. Yeah, there are some. Hold on. The replay start glitch. Yeah, the replay start glitching on me because I think they didn't show the replay start in later versions or something. Anyways, some very cool battles here, and I hope you all enjoy the replays I cast today. And yeah, do go ahead and cast your vote in the. Go ahead and cast your vote in the voting post, and we shall see you in the next one. A big thanks to the Phoenix King for inviting me to cast the replay today, and yeah, hopefully we'll do another tournament soon. And yeah, that's all. Everyone have a great rest of the weekend, and enjoy your Easter holidays, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you for watching, and hope you all had fun with all the multiplayer action, and yeah, see you in the next one. Tactical Lich signing out.